Z's, just for sleep. Really great sleep.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Use as directed.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
We should top out close to 59, 60 degrees this afternoon. Tonight, clouds take control quickly, 39. Wednesday, lots of clouds, northwest wind. It's colder in the 30s, but dropping into the low 30s by late in the day. Thursday, sunny and cold, 32, 42 on Friday. Second cold front comes through late Friday. We're only in the 20s for the weekend. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist, Dave Murray.
The Annie Fry Show is sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 56 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance and installation, and heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. AirComfortService.com.
Annie Fry, Ryan Wiggins, Brad Range.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
What do you want from me? I'm married this week.
For goodness sake, kid, keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
Happy Tuesday, January 13th. Welcome to the Annie Fry Show. You know, I've been listening today to some of the Supreme Court hearings on the men playing in women's sports. That's the case that is at hand. And even how you would refer to what's going on at the Supreme Court today, that is going to be subjective based on what you're advocating for. Men playing in women's sports, transgender women in women's sports. And I have to really self-reflect when going into covering this, because I've realized, certainly this morning, it really hit me in a really big way. It makes me so outrageously angry that I think that I have pulled away from it from time to time, because I'm worried that I can't be my normal objective self. What'd you say?
Yeah, I'll just go with that.
Why are you scared? You should be. I'm
know.
pissed. I just am listening. First of all, watching television with two pictures up there of the people who are talking while they're in like deep legalese is super boring.
It's not good TV.
It's not good TV. It's good freedom, constitutional, muscle flexing, exercise, get some reps in there, but it is not for the faint of heart.
Yeah. It's not the easiest. I listened to quite a bit of it this morning too, and it was fine to listen to, not great to watch.
Fox had the two pictures up there, and it would be like, here is the lawyer who is speaking, and here is the Supreme Court justice who is part of the conversation right now. And they had this little yellow box that would go under it and be like, this person's speaking, which is easy when it's the male attorney and the female Supreme Court justice talking like, okay, I can get who is whom here. But the yellow box, they go back and forth. It was like a crapshoot as to whether I'm like, ooh, that is not. Yeah, when it's Ketanji Brown Jackson speaking.
When it's the Idaho attorney and Brett Kavanaugh, you're like,
yeah, unless you know the voices of the Supreme Court justice, and what nerds know that? I know a few of them. I also, as has been, unfortunately, I've screwed this up on the air. I have to pause every time I say Ketanji Brown Jackson, because I called her Ketanji Jackson Brown one time, and you like snickered and corrected me, and I was like, what? And I just, Jackson Brown sticks in my head.
Well, Jackson Brown is an artist.
It's a name. And I just think there's a fun SNL skit there somewhere. I wish we could see it. I don't know. I'm not somebody who can weigh in on the legalese and the arguments that are being made. But let's set up for you here. This was a Fox News or Fox and Friends report this morning really on what's taking place at the Supreme Court.
The eventual ruling in this case could change the game for millions of female athletes all across the country. The court is hearing oral arguments today on 2 cases out of 2 different states, being West Virginia and Idaho. Both of those states have been sued by trans-identified student athletes. They are young people, biological males who identify as females. They feel they were unfairly banned from the sport that aligns with their gender identity. In West Virginia, the case really surrounds Title IX, that question. In Idaho, the focus is more on equal protection. Idaho and West Virginia are among nearly 30 states with laws that stop biological men from taking part in girls' sports, in public school, and colleges. So the justices will take a look at whether gender identity can apply to Title IX, despite the landmark federal law addressing sexual discrimination in schools. And sex and gender, they are not the same thing. Gender is generally defined as a set of beliefs, how a person feels, some social stereotypes, and sex is considered biological. But I say considered because the plaintiffs in this case have likely brought forth some material to the court arguing that sex is not immutable, that it is malleable, and that there is some gray area here. The defendants, these states, the government, they're going to be arguing that is not the case and that this is an issue of fairness. So at the core, both arguments here from both sides are saying that this is not fair for female athletes. It's not fair to have to compete alongside individuals who have a biological advantage. And for the plaintiffs here, they're going to be arguing that their clients here do not have, there's no fairness for them in wanting to compete in a sport that they clearly want to compete in. It's interesting, in the Idaho case, the plaintiff, the individual here, the trans-identifying young person, actually has been petitioning to drop this case, wanting to kind of move on with their life. But this is a case with high stakes. So the government sees this as something that they want the Supreme Court to hear and eventually rule on. We expect that to come sometime in June. Oral arguments today start at 10 a.m.
So those arguments already have taken place, wrapped up around noon Eastern, so the last couple hours. But did you hear there where they said that the transgender individuals who want to play in women's sports feel discriminated against because they want to play in women's sports? Is that it? Because it seems to me at the end result of a male, an XY chromosome wanting to enter into the female XX sports arena, it seems to me like one of 2 things is going to happen. They're going to be permitted to enter or they're not. If they're permitted to enter, then everybody else has to have hurt feelings, suffer through, maybe be injured by or hurt by somebody who is biologically built in a different way than those females are. Everybody else is going to be at the short end of the stick if that person is allowed to play. And if they're not allowed to play, then that person gets the short end of the stick. So it seems to me like, obviously, like most cases that come to the Supreme Court, that somebody's going to be SOL at the end of the day once the Supreme Court rules, as you heard here, which will come out in June when those Supreme Court cases are usually read. The rulings are read. I do not understand why a male transitioning to female is prioritized over all of the girls who are working their tails off to try to compete on a level playing field. Why are they all told to sit down? So this male who believes that he is a female can play in a sport where, in many cases, the vast majority of people do not want that situation. I'm trying really hard to say don't want him there. I'm trying really hard not to say that. But at the end of the day, that's the simplest way to say it. They don't not want him there because he identifies differently than the rest of the girls who are on the court. It's not that he's not wanted there because his personal identity is different than the rest of them. He's not wanted there because it's not fair and it's not safe for those girls. That's all there is to it. This is not about the rights of those individuals to identify as transgender. This is not about judgment on that individual's identity within the realms of society. It's about the safety of these girls. And those girls deserve to be protected. The whole stratosphere of female sports and what has been, over the course of decades now, led up to the moment where, and in a time where people give an iota about the WNBA. Who would have thought we would be here? Take any of those NBA players and slap them in to the WNBA, and everybody knows that the entire system has changed. But Annie, those men have fully grown. They've gone through the entire process of developing, gone through puberty and all that. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. There is a disadvantage to a biological female who's competing in a sport with a biological male. Full stop. How ironic that the feminist movement, the actual feminists that are out there who want equality for men and women, how ironic that the feminist movement got us to the place where women's sports could not be shoved aside because men's sports are more entertaining for the public, because men's sports bring in more money. Yes, all things true. Completely understandable. But that shouldn't mean that there are less opportunities for girls, because you don't play in sports just to entertain other people. The participation in athletics, especially for youth, teach kids how to deal with adversity, how to struggle, how to succeed after the struggle, how to prepare, how to work with a team, how to be in a position where everything that you are putting into something can require the partnership with a teammate to make said thing better, to reach success that you couldn't have reached by yourself. Folks, that's life. That's a job. When you get out of school, that's what we're all working for. You build self-esteem. You build yourself a healthier lifestyle. Sports, and it's not just as simple as what they're trying to boil this down to. Like this transgender female just deserves to have this opportunity. At what cost? Because to suggest that there's no cost involved towards those biological females is completely ignorant to common sense. And Ryan, before we go to a break here, we're going to have Ryan Schmelz on with us here in just a minute. Before we go to a break, the thing that pisses me off to no end, which is why I don't talk about this so much, because then I get like this. Nobody wants to hear me like this. The thing that makes me so incredibly disappointed is that when it comes down to at what cost, common sense has been, up until this point, up until the Supreme Court has had the opportunity to ask the questions and hear the answers, common sense has completely left the building. And this summer, this June, if this Supreme Court doesn't get this one right, I have no hope for common sense until it gets corrected. I'm raising 3 girls. I almost said that. A son who's 16 years old. By the time he was going from 7th to 8th grade, that is when the separation takes off like crazy in what boys are capable to do athletically and what girls are. And I'm raising athletes, and I have coached female athletes. To diminish what these girls have accomplished and will accomplish because you allow boys to participate in the process is the most anti-feminist thing that I have lived through in my lifetime. Growing up in the 80s and the 90s, when the women's movement was supposed to be peak, women were supposed to have a seat at the table, an equal voice, the ability to participate, to choose for them. I want to go to work. I want to be a career woman. And then a little bit later on, women are like, but maybe I want to stay at home. These are choices that women get to make because they're capable of making these choices. If they don't get this one right, they're going to take away an enormous opportunity for girls. And common sense will have officially and maybe permanently left the building. There's no way to rule on this one, Ryan, other than the right way, which is to say boys play boy sports. Girls play girl sports. If you're a transgender individual, you can play sports, but you can't do it at the expense of our girls.
But the trans guy's argument's really strong. It's, I want to.
As I said, don't make me say bad words. I'm working real hard here to contain myself.
The entirety of human history and human anatomy against some guys who are like, but I want to. I feel like I should. That's the argument.
Yeah. Sit down, son. That's where I am right now. Like, live your life. I'm not here to tell you how to live your life, but you are not going to come into our family life. You are not going to come onto our girls' courts and take away those girls' opportunities to live theirs. No. Common sense. Come back. We need you now more than ever. When we come back, Ryan Schmelz is going to be with us. What was the topic? It was the Fed Chair Jerome Powell. He's under investigation. And they're looking into, do you remember when Donald Trump slapped that hard hat on and was like,
oh, yeah.
Hey, Mr. Fed Chair Powell, what are you spending all this money on? And he's like, those numbers aren't the numbers I have. Now he's under investigation. Is something going to materialize from this? What is the actual genesis of the story? Ryan Schmelz, he's the man with the info on Capitol Hill, and he's with us on the Annie Fry Show next.
Everybody knows it, everybody knows it. But the road less traveled is hard to walk. Everybody knows it, everybody.
Stewart's American Mortgage. I was just talking to somebody here in the building who said, well, we called Stewie, and the reason why is because they wanted to make their whatever length mortgage down to a 20. They wanted to make it smaller, less time to have to pay that mortgage. She get paid off sooner. Financial freedom, a few less years away. That's pretty fantastic. And also because they trust Stewie. Now, I've used him twice for refinances, and both times I used the bagel loan. And when I did, I paid no dollars in closing costs. That's the beauty of using the bagel loan, 314-324-4440. When you need somebody in the business that you can trust, you need somebody in the mortgage industry who can explain these are your options and tell you this is what's best for you. That's when you reach out to Stewie, and he's going to help you right away. 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. Google the bagel loan. Reach out to Stewie. Tell him Annie said hi. You'll be glad you did. You can find him online by Googling the bagel loan, NMLS number 226715.
According to MasterCard, nearly half of small businesses have been a victim of a cyber attack. As cybercrime escalates, ThrottleNet is calling on businesses to strengthen their security posture by taking a free online IT security audit right from your desk. This 3-minute online assessment provides an immediate score to see security gaps and vulnerabilities in your network. For 26 years, ThrottleNet has supported your business IT everything right here in St. Louis. In fact, no client of ThrottleNet has ever paid a ransom. So visit throttlenet.com/971 to take the free assessment today.
License number E2014A.
Hey, it's good to see you.
You know, there's a certain way we do things around here, the Grasser way.
The Grasser way?
We don't cut corners and we don't take shortcuts. Not on the little stuff and not on the big stuff.
We do the big stuff.
That's right. Whole home generators that kick on the moment the grid gives up. Lights stay on, heat stays on, your family stays safe, so your house stays warm.
And your ice cream stays frozen.
Green is always Grasser at GrasserHomeservices.com.
With the new IHOP value menu, $6 is all it takes to go to your happy place, where stacks of pancakes with bacon and eggs are just $6 every day. French toast, sausage, and eggs are, you guessed it, $6. And fluffy omelets come with a side of pancakes and only cost $6. Go to your happy plates every day at IHOP. $7 in some locations. Available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
The Annie Fry Show is St. Louis conservative.
Well, he's billions of dollars over budget, so he either is incompetent or he's crooked. I don't know what he is, but he certainly doesn't do a very good job.
President Trump and a helicopter there, Marine One, which is quite an impressive vehicle, I might add, reacting to the investigation into Fed Chair Jerome Powell. And the president had prior to that said that he didn't have any knowledge of that specific investigation. You're supposed to have a separation there between what the administration is doing, of course, and the Justice Department. But what really is behind the accusations, the investigation behind Jerome Powell, the Fed chair. Somebody who, what did Donald Trump always say about him? He would, too late. Was he too late? Was that who was too late?
Too late, Jerome.
Something like that. Jerome Too Late Powell. I think he just called him too late.
Yeah, maybe.
Because he didn't lower rates fast enough. He was too late. Well, let's get to the bottom of it with our friend Ryan Schmelz, who joins us now. Fox News Radio, Capitol Hill, and White House correspondent on X at Ryan Schmelz. Fox, Ryan, welcome back. Good to have you here with us.
Good to be on, Annie. Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday to you. Talk to us about Jerome Powell. What kind of investigation is he under currently?
Right. So this investigation appears to be that he was subpoenaed by the Department of Justice over testimony he had before Congress, where he was asked about an over expenditure for the new Fed building. And there were accusations that there were luxury amenities that they were trying to put in that caused the building to go over budget. And the accusation is that he misled or lied to Congress about what they were spending the money on and some of the issues that they were facing. So right now, it's just an investigation. He has not been formally charged with anything. And whether or not he actually will get charged is still kind of out there, too.
So is this something that's being led by the Justice Department based on statements that he made to Congress?
That's what we understand, yes. And it's strictly the DOJ. The White House has denied pretty much any involvement in this, and President Trump has denied being involved in this at all. We should also point out that there are some Republicans who have questioned why they're doing this, because there's a concern that if you charge the Fed chair, you continue this legal action against the Fed chair, there could be some ramifications for the economy down the road. Now, we haven't seen that quite yet. The markets have actually been pretty solid so far this week since this news came out, but that could change at any moment.
All right. Ryan Schmelz speaking with us right now. Some other news there on Capitol Hill. Bill Clinton, former president, Bill Clinton has defied a congressional subpoena. Representative Comer says contempt charges are moving ahead. So let's talk a little bit about why Bill Clinton received a subpoena. And also, I mean, I would assume that a former president would have privilege. We listened to President Trump when he was in his presidential purgatory there in the Biden years, talk about having, certain sorts of presidential power and immunity. I would assume that goes to Bill Clinton as well. Do you have to show up to invoke your immunity or your privilege? Can you, as a former president, just say, I'm going to take a pass on that subpoena?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure, but let's keep in mind that according to a lot of the legal experts we have at Fox, they believe that Bill Clinton has this presidential immunity to defy this subpoena or potentially defy further subpoenas because of President Trump and the arguments that he made before the Supreme Court when he was facing charges from the Department of Justice, which is kind of ironic in this case now. But in Bill Clinton's case, him and Hillary Clinton both feel like they have given the Oversight Committee and the DOJ every information they need to know about Jeffrey Epstein. But Comer has put it out there that allegedly Jeffrey Epstein came to Bill Clinton's White House several times, 17 times total during the Clinton administration. And Comer kind of compared that to the amount of times he's been to the White House since his time in Congress began. So Bill Clinton could be facing a contempt markup next week, but whether or not that can actually go anywhere is still kind of up there because, as you pointed out earlier, Bill Clinton does have some type of presidential immunity, but we're not quite sure if that applies to Hillary Clinton as well.
All right. Well, Ryan Schmelz speaking with us right now, Fox News Radio, Capitol Hill, and White House correspondent. The business of the folks on Capitol Hill right now, I would think, would be working on getting those appropriation bills agreed upon, passed, and then to the president's desk to be signed. But, of course, across the globe, there are quite a few huge storylines playing out in Iran still. Of course, the Venezuela Maduro situation is a very hot button issue. How is Congress right now focusing and prioritizing their time to make sure that January 30th, I believe, deadline for a government shutdown is met?
I mean, they're still prioritizing the appropriations bills. There were 3 that were passed out of the House last week. There's another 2 that should be coming up soon. So if that's the case, that means the House has passed 8 of them so far and only has 4 more to go after that. But the clock is ticking and they are running short on time. Now, the ones that passed last week were considered to be some of the least divisive ones out there. The question is going to be when they get to the defense appropriations bill, when they get to the Homeland Security one, what is going to happen there? Because number one, you got President Trump requesting $500 billion more for the Department of War budget than previously was requested. Well, there might be some conservatives and some progressives who say that's just a number that's way too high for us. Where are you going to find a way to pay for that? And then you also have this push now from some progressive Democrats to use the appropriations process to block DHS funding in order to get some type of policy reining in ICE after the Minnesota shooting last week. So there could be a little bit of pushback when it comes to that. Now, is there going to be enough Democrats who say we want to shut down for that specific reason? I don't think we've seen enough just yet, but if that call continues to grow, that could be a problem.
So, Ryan, as I understand it, there are 12 appropriations bills. How many of them are passed at this point? You said 3 more came out of the House. And the follow-up to that is, if the bill is passed and we have a government shutdown, are the ones that are passed all the way through, does the shutdown apply to those areas or just the unfinished business?
Nope. The ones that have been passed are law, and the government is funded in those specific areas all the way until the end of September, which is the end of the fiscal year. 3 of those bills were signed into law as part of the deal that reopened the government a couple months ago. That included the Department of Veterans Affairs. It included SNAP benefits. So those areas will not be impacted if we hit another government shutdown. If, in fact, they finish passing these other 3, that'll make 6. They just need to go through the Senate now. And there's a couple more that could get put up for a vote later on this week as well. So, yes, anything that is passed and signed into law, not going to be impacted by the shutdown. So the more appropriations bills they pass between now and January 30th, the less they have to worry about if, in fact, we hit another shutdown.
So a smaller shutdown, but a shutdown nonetheless if they're not able to get the job done. Ryan Schmelz speaking with us right now. I am seeing a ton of chatter on X about the SAVE Act. The SAVE Act requiring, among other things, proof of citizenship in order to vote, as I understand it, to register to vote, I suppose. Can you talk a little bit about where the SAVE Act is in Congress and what's holding it up from the president's desk to sign it into law?
So the SAVE Act passed out of the House. The problem with it is that it needs 60 votes in the Senate, and it appears that 60 votes just simply aren't there. If I were to guess right now, it probably has upwards of anywhere between 53, maybe up to 55 votes, but that's not going to be enough to avoid the filibuster. That's why you see President Trump in many ways pushing to abolish the filibuster, because if the filibuster was abolished, the SAVE Act would have no issues passing the Senate because they'd easily be able to get 50 to 51 votes. That's just not the case right now. They need 60 votes. They can't get there.
Are the Republicans, are all the Republicans in the Senate in favor of the SAVE Act?
I haven't seen any Republicans who are against it. So it looks like, yeah, it's a pretty widespread conference-wide agreement on the SAVE Act, and they might have a Democrat or 2 who'd be open to it, maybe like John Fetterman or somebody like that. But, you know, even if just 1 or 2 Democrats votes with them on that, it's still not enough.
And to blow up the filibuster for a particular issue or for good, what's the procedure? How quickly can something like that be done so that they could just go to the simple majority?
They could probably do it fairly quick. They would need a simple majority, I believe, to get rid of it, but that would have to be done by changing the Senate rules, and pretty much they vote on the Senate rules every year. So it would be a fairly, I guess, relatively simple process, but whether or not the votes would be there, there's a lot of Republicans who say, no way, let's not do that. So, and Leader Thune really hasn't expressed any interest on getting rid of the filibuster. And if he's not willing to do it, then it's probably not going anywhere.
Ryan, this is Ryan. There's been a lot of Twitter chatter about these number of senators, Republican senators in particular, who were willing to fund what looked like maybe welfare or refugee money that had been highly controversial in light of everything going on with Minnesota. Is that part of the budget negotiation, or is that a separate thing?
I need to see specifically where that came from, but, you know, in some of these funding bills, there have been things that Republicans do not like and things that have gotten some press in their own circles that has not been good. But at the same time, you got to keep in mind, these were negotiations. There were things that Democrats put a hard line on, and there were things that get put into these things that Republicans don't like, and there's a lot that Democrats don't like. It's kind of a part of how the negotiation goes. And if you need 60 votes to pass a funding bill, you're going to have to make at least a couple of Democrats happy here and there.
All right. Ryan Schmelz, so much going on. I feel like we've barely scratched the surface with you, but we always know that you have the information and perspective we need to get to the bottom of what's actually taking place there on Capitol Hill. We appreciate you. We'll have you back soon. Thanks for being with us.
Sounds good, Annie. Thank you.
Talk to you soon. Ryan Schmelz, Fox News Radio, Capitol Hill, and White House correspondent. Go follow him on X at Ryan Schmelz Fox. All right, quick break. Wiggins America in about 15 minutes from now-ish. I'm reading my sheet here. Wiggins America, dumb terms that are now retired and uncool by Mr. Cool himself. Ethan.
I didn't write all that. There's some paraphrasing.
Who paraphrased?
You.
Ron, I didn't write that.
Oh, that's actually on the show sheet?
Yes,
that
I'm
is
reading
Ethan
from the,
then, dang it.
I'm reading. I am anchor man here.
Yeah, I think there's a little paraphrasing there. That's generally what I am talking about.
All right, well, maybe Ethan will come in here to cool it up for us a little bit.
Okay.
All right, stick around. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
As the old saying goes, size matters.
At Morgan & Morgan, we have over 1,000 lawyers and nearly 6,000 people on staff.
But at the core, this is and always has been a family business.
Our family watching out for your family.
Call us or email us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even on a Saturday or a Sunday.
And if you ever have a problem, call our mom.
Morgan & Morgan.
For the people and your family.
Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Wondering if dangerous contaminants are in your home's water? Get Leaf Home Water Solutions today. We can't live without water, but we can take actions today to make it safer and healthier. Leaf Home Water Solutions is offering a free in-home water test. Just visit leafhome.com/free to schedule yours. With results from their advanced digital testing, Leaf Home Water Solutions can design a whole home system and expertly install it in as little as 1 day. With Leaf Home Water Solutions, you can feel confident that each drop of water from every tap and appliance is cleaner and safer for you and your family. We can't live without water, but we can take actions today to make our family's water safer with Leaf Home Water Solutions. Schedule your free home water test today at leafhome.com/free and save 15% on all home water treatment systems. That's leafhome.com/free for your free home water test and 15% off. leafhome.com/free.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw with Retirement Advisory Group.
Hi, I'm Tammy Kershaw. When we meet our clients for the first time, they have built up a lifetime of savings. Their question is, what can we do with this money so we can live comfortably the rest of our lives? First, we develop a strategy to protect your nest egg from any market losses. Then we build your own personalized structured income plan that will generate you an income the rest of your life. We put you in control of your money.
You've earned it, and it's our job to make sure you enjoy it. Let our team show you how you can have the retirement of your dreams. Call us now at 314-993-9494 for a no-cost, no-obligation retirement review. You will also get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. We've been helping retirees and pre-retirees retire with confidence for 40 years. Call us now at 314-993-9494 or go online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Just a reminder, you have a chance to win Jimmy Fallon tickets. I think we're going to make an executive decision and say that's going to be in the 1 o'clock hour today.
Are you an executive?
I am now. See my suit?
Can you tell me what you're an executive of?
I'm an executive authority of design and time, temporal management.
He's just going to keep saying words.
Temporal management, he says.
Time temporal management. So anyway.
Will you please send out a memo?
Yeah, to the whole company. It'll come from my official account as the executive of temporal time management.
Written in waterproof crayon.
12:36. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
From Festus to Freeburg, 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Sing my share of broken halos, folding wings that used to fly. They've all gone wherever they go. Broken halos that used to shine.
The main focus when President Trump shocked the political world, right, and had the most historic return we've ever seen in American politics, from the moment he came down the escalator the first time to his return to Washington, what was a central plank of his is to take on the illegal immigration problem. So we kind of don't talk about anymore that the southern border has been closed, right? Now he's taking to the narco-terrorists on the high seas. But now I think the next phase of this is the mass deportations that need to happen to meet the mass migration that was opened up by Joe Biden, the 20 million people. Then also these, through the legal immigration problem, we have the H-1B visas that are displacing American workers, the OPT program that are displacing American students. This is part of an immigration system that is tilted against the American people. And when you see the fraud, when you see people getting cash to come here, no background checks, being put up at the Roosevelt Hotel, the welfare benefits that are going to non-citizens, if you're, a working class American that sees this, you're right to be frustrated with your government. And I think this is an opportunity to regain the trust of the American people and go after this fraud.
Senator Eric Schmidt, America's senator, if I may, really talking about the scope with which we need to consider deportations. Jim Carafano is going to be with us at 1:05. I'm going to ask him that question. Wonder how he's going to answer it. Here's the YouTube poll for today. Who do you want to see deported? Big question. We've been asking it for years now. Who would you like to see the United States officials, agents going after to deport out of our country? You can text us at 314-241-9797. That's 314-241-9797. And give us some of your feedback on that. Ryan will read some of those texts over the air. But you can go to the Annie Fry YouTube channel and cast your vote. We want to know from the Annie Fry Show audience in the scientific form, YouTube polls, how y'all feel about it. Joe commented on YouTube and said, do we have rules or not? Why do we have rules? Why am I following rules and nobody else follows rules? What are we doing? Just a big no-rule picnic. He's not
Sounds
wrong.
like you could say that in different terms and it'd be a little more crass, but I think I know what he's saying.
I am in agreement with him. At what point do things become subjective? And yes, this does correlate with what is taking place, the arguments that were being had at the Supreme Court today, because the whole back and forth with the Supreme Court hearing today, which is about men playing in women's sports, boys playing in girls' sports, is whether or not transgender individuals are being discriminated on their identity status as being transgender. And all of the arguments that go into it talk about sex-based discrimination, going into Title IX, what we've done in the past to ensure that girls have a fair shake at opportunity to play and participate in athletics and organizations that traditionally were more geared towards men and male spaces. And I believe it was Justice Alito was like, we're talking about all of this, questioning whether there is a discriminatory basis for the transgender community. And we're talking about all of it based on sex. He goes, but what is sex? We can't have this conversation without first defining what it is, what basis that is being discriminated upon. And if you can't define sex, which, folks, this really agitates me, thinking back to, I think it was 2003, I was studying communications and psychology. Psychology was my minor. And I was taking a psychology course that was, I think it was gender. But in 2003, a psychology course in a university that was discussing gender was just another psychology course that you took. But I remember being in that class, and I remember the desk I was sitting in when the professor of that class said emphatically, as if she were saying to the class, ladies and gentlemen, the sun rises in the east. She said sex, biological sex and gender are different. And I thought, what? Come again. Now, this is 23 years ago at this point. And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking not so much about the truth and meaning of what she was saying, like, do I agree with it? My real intellectual analysis just privately to myself was, why are we talking about this? Like, why is this something that even needs to be discussed in a classroom? Why are we so emphatically in a classroom encouraging people to understand that your biological sex, your parts, are in no way, shape, or form connected to your gender? And then you get into the term gender identity. And in 2003, I was like, what is this? Where is this coming from? And I realized it took less than 20 years for that mentality in a classroom, in a university, to turn the whole thing upside down. You know, these professors that I had, very proudly self-identified feminists. You've screwed girls in some sort of effort to blur every single line that exists about what's the scary word? Normal. All of those lines that indicate in a culture, in a healthy societal culture, which honestly, what's the point of society? It's to procreate. We need more people. Because if the population diminishes, if it's extinguished, then all of this is for naught. In a society that is supposed to understand the value of procreation, of studying humans, of investing time, energy, and resources into learning about one another, if the end goal is to make it so that gender and biological sex are completely apples and oranges, different things. Now I realize in 2003, it clicked in my brain that this is off. And to me, it felt very much so indoctrinating to have that discussion. And so weird and uncomfortable that I'm not realizing until 10, 15, 20 years later what they were actually doing with that.
But it's important to identify that because it starts in think tank situations like that. They start to apply these new terms, new ideas, and say, but think about it this way. And then down the line, it becomes part of open society, it becomes part of law, and now we're seeing the ramifications of that. You know, one of the things that the Idaho attorney was saying this morning to, I think, both Sotomayor and Kagan and probably Ketanji Brown Jackson, is he was saying somebody has to figure out what it means to, quote, identify as. Because are you saying that, because they kept saying the term, well, what if somebody identifies as a girl or they identify as a boy? He's like, what does it mean to identify as something? Because you keep using that term, but I don't think we're all using it the same way. What about if some guy tried out for the guys' team and didn't make it and goes, well, then I'm just going to be on the girls' team? Could he do that? And they were like, well, he doesn't identify it. Well, how do you know he doesn't identify as?
And what if he identifies it tomorrow?
What does identify as mean? It can mean anything.
All of the blurred lines, they're very intentional. And when you can blur the lines between boys and girls, you could do anything.
It's so basic.
Going back to the YouTube poll question, who do you want to see deported? And Joe's comment, what even are rules? Are there exceptions that can be made to the rules? Generally speaking, I think so. But if you're making an exception to a rule, there has to be an acknowledgement of a rule that exists that means something. And if you choose not to acknowledge the rule's existence and the appropriateness of the existence, then you have no rules, you have no laws, you have no order. And there are actively people investing lots of money in that end. Disorder and chaos. And usually when people are investing in that, that means that they're ready to step in to establish a new kind of order. And the basis, this is very Orwellian, folks, 1984, everything you know is gone. 2 + 2 = 5. And if you can make people believe that, if you can make people believe that there are more than two sexes, that gender is not connected to your sex, you could do anything. I'm hoping the Supreme Court puts us right back on the path to common sense once again. And our YouTube poll, we want your texts on this, your comments on YouTube. Who do you want to see deported? No deportations. You're not in favor of any of them. Anyone with an illegal status, gone. Or you want violent offenders with illegal status, deported. Let us know what you think. It's a big poll question, and your feedback is going to be essential today. All right. Weekends America next. Dumb terms that are now retired and uncool.
Yeah, I'm king of what you would call dumb.
Oh, I didn't say that. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll be right back. AirComfortService.com, 314-513-0091. That's 314-513-0091. That dry, coarse air in your home is not comfortable, and there is a way to solve this problem without having to lug, gallons of water into your humidifier and it spills and it's gross. You got to clean the filters and everything. I want to talk to you about a whole home humidifier from Air Comfort Service. Let them help you if you need a new furnace or HVAC system by taking advantage of 0% financing for up to 72 months. And for a limited time, you're going to get a free humidifier with a new HVAC system installation. You call them at 314-513-0091, 314-513-0091, and tell Air Comfort Service you heard about them on the Annie Fry Show, and you're interested in service to your HVAC system, information on what is wrong with it, and maybe that whole home humidifier offer that they have going right now. 314-513-0091, aircomfortservice.com.
Listen to 97.1 today through Friday for your chance to win tickets to see Jimmy Fallon. Just listen for the sounder to play along with a phone number and be the ninth caller. You'll get tickets to see Jimmy Fallon January 24th at the Factory in Chesterfield.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6986. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6986. That's 800-575-6986. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
This is the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Wiggins!
Oh! Wiggins!
All right, these are a bunch of terms that are no longer cool and you can't use them anymore. And this is inspired by a word that I saw an article about called choppleganger.
Right.
Somebody tell me what choppleganger is, Ethan.
Being chopped means you're ugly.
Okay? You're on the right track.
So it's the ugly version of you?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I was going to say it's another ugly person that looks like you.
Yes.
Another.
It's like doppelganger.
The person is like the ugly version of you, or it's an ugly person like you because you're ugly.
I think it can kind of be used both ways. It says choppleganger is the latest term being thrown around by today's kids. It is not to be confused with doppelganger. The latter refers to someone who looks exactly like another person. Being called a choppleganger is less polite, since apparently the word chopped is now used by today's youth to call somebody ugly.
Yeah.
Choppleganger refers to someone's uglier copy.
Yeah, so it's not somebody who looks like you. It's like if you were ugly, this is what you would look like.
Yeah, it's a copy of you, but ugly. But I don't think that sounds like that's that offensive to the person you're talking to.
I don't think it's ever going to be well received from somebody to be like, "Oh, that's the ugly version of you."
I don't know. I mean, you're kind of saying, yeah, but you look good. But
you're better looking than that person.
If that person
Ethan,
were to be you,
Joe
ugly.
Curie is your choppleganger.
Is my choppleganger. Oh, thank you.
That's a dub.
That's very nice.
Yeah, that's kind of a win for you.
I don't think Joe Curie exists. I've never seen Joe Curie and Ethan Hannaford in the same room at the same time.
I have.
Mm-mm.
I have. Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
No.
Right now.
No, not at all. Ethan looks like Joe Curie, Steve Harrington. I'm just telling you. From the second we saw Steve Harrington grace the stage on Netflix, after knowing Ethan, I'm like, they're the same.
I just don't see it.
I don't think you look that much like him.
Yeah,
but
I can't help but see it.
But I can
really
acknowledge that somebody would say that.
I know that Ryan would not acknowledge that Ethan looks like one of the most popular people in Hollywood right now.
No. Would you say that I look a lot like
No.
Hopper?
No, kind of like
just in build.
11, both bald.
But
is she still bald?
No, not in the later season. She's not.
See,
because she had hair replacement surgery.
This is where I, on
Did a
behalf
whole
of
episode
Ryan,
on
say
it.
if anybody is listening right now and does hair replacement surgery, Ryan wants it.
I'll do it. I'll do it just because I want to look like Elle.
And then they treat you like Elle from season 1.
Because people are like, she's kind of your doppelganger. I'm like, oh, is it because I get nosebleeds? And they're like, no. All right, here's some other phrases that you can't use anymore. Cringe. The kids say you can't
Cringe
say
is cringe?
anymore. It's not cool. Cringe is cringe. Agree?
I don't care.
I don't see what's wrong with it. I don't understand this one.
I spend a lot of time around teenagers, and they all talk at the same time. Nobody is listening to anybody, and they're all saying the same thing over and over, like, bro, that's tough, like over and over and over again. And I'm like, nothing's tough if everything's tough. And I'm driving them from freaking Sparta yesterday.
Uh-huh.
Hello, folks down south.
Is that within our listening?
I
Probably-
forgot.
I think it is.
I thought in the gym last night I should check, and then I forgot when I got back in the car.
The gym isn't the best place to check.
Well, I couldn't check. I wanted to check it on a radio, which is why I didn't do it, because I thought about it when I couldn't make it materialistically
I think
happen.
it is. Somebody text us from Sparta.
Yeah, 314-241-9797. I don't know if you need like an out-of-country code, because that was a long
Add
drive.
an 8 in front of it.
But I mean, I've driven these boys places, and they just all talk about the same thing at the same. They're all talking at the same time. And if they're playing Crash Royale or I always call it Crash Royale, Clash Royale, I don't even know the words they're saying because they're talking about this game. If you know, you know. Do you know, Ethan?
I do not know.
Well, you have graduated.
Are this 15, 16-year-olds still saying 6, 7? Is it cool?
It was never cool.
Really?
I would never say that it was cool. It's like an addiction that they can't let go of.
Oh.
It's very disappointing. It's just, like, if it happens, everyone's like, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. Last night at the basketball game, one of the teams had 66 points, and I just noticed all the cheerleaders were like, look at each other like, oh my gosh, and they're all doing this. And then somebody made 2 points, and we went right to 68, and the world was saved.
I just got a text from somebody who said they're not in Sparta.
Okay.
So,
yeah, Quick Rick said, is there a 12-step group for 6-7? No, because they can't get past 7. They just keep going back and forth.
mm-hmm. Yeah, they'd stop at 6 and 7. They just return back to 1.
Yeah.
All right. The next term you cannot use anymore because it's not cool is game changer. Anything remotely innovative could be described as a game changer, but not anymore.
That's not even, they don't get that word. Gen Z didn't come up with the word game changer.
No, but they said you can't use it anymore.
No, well, let's do what
Unless
they say.
you're a nerd. What, are you going to keep saying game changer, all you nerds in this room?
I have so many stories that I want to tell about teenage boys, and there's one story in particular that I told Charlie he needs to get his friend's permission for me to share. But it's like being around a new civilization. That's too tight of a term. A new group of people to watch teenage boys in the wild communicate with one another and try to effectively get from point A to point B. It's
Brad's a youth pastor. He's not
unusual.
I've watched this evolve over decades too.
But it stays the same.
I was going to
as
say,
it
I don't
changes.
think that there's any evolution. Maybe the words change.
The words change, but the interactions stay the same. It is fascinating.
Last one that we have time for. Era.
Please.
You cannot say era and be cool anymore.
Thank you.
It
Taylor
is-
Swift.
Yeah, Taylor Swift ruined it for everybody.
I'm in my coffee era. No, you're not. You need more sleep. Everything's an era.
think
An
I'd
era
hit
is
someone if
bigger
I heard
than
him say that.
anything you're going through right now.
No, we're past that.
Oh, man.
You cannot be in any era.
Jim Carafano, Paul Mauro in the next hour. Don't go away.
Let's just face it, right? Your home should work for you, not against you. Hi, it's Kim, and if you've been dreaming of a new kitchen, bathroom, or a finished basement, now's the time to call Lakeside Renovation and Design. They're St. Louis's trusted experts in turning houses into dream homes. Just imagine this, a spa-like bathroom, maybe a chef-inspired kitchen, or how about a cozy basement perfect for some movie nights? Their team handles everything from design to installation so you can just sit back and enjoy the process. Visit lakesidearty.com today to start your dream renovation.
St. Louis, laugh it up with Jimmy Fallon live at the Factory on January 24th. From national radio to sold-out comedy clubs, Jimmy delivers fast, fearless stand-up that hits home.
The only ones raising tough kids anymore. The redneck babies are going to take on ISIS. The hipster babies are going to battle the evil forces of gluten. You know what I'm saying?
Grab your friends and get ready for a night of laughs. One show, one night only. Don't miss Jimmy Fallon January 24th at the Factory. Get your tickets now at thefactorystl.com. That's thefactorystl.com.
When it comes to affordable term life insurance, everyone's whistling the Big Lou tune. If you're over 50, maybe a bit porky, or have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost about $200 a month. Even if you're not in perfect health, call Big Lou, because he specializes in finding big chunks of affordable term life insurance for just about everyone. Don't let diabetes or other health glitches keep you from owning $500,000 to $1 million or more of term life insurance. For affordable term life insurance, call Big Lou. Don't hesitate. Call 800-700-6898, 800-700-6898, or visit biglou.com.
Call Big Lou, don't hesitate. 800-700-6898. Call Big Lou, don't hesitate. 800-700-6898. Visit biglou.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
ZipRecruiter. KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-777-7777.
That's 314-777-7777.
Times are good for Ford. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. That's what the company's executive chairman, Bill Ford, is saying alongside President Trump at an F-150 truck plant near Detroit.
We couldn't be more excited. We're adding market share. We're growing as a company. We're adding jobs.
And all of the U.S. automakers now are doing great. And before, they were having a really hard time.
The president's plant tour just ahead of a speech on the economy now underway. Reporters also asking the president what he meant earlier today in a post telling protesters in Iran that help is on its way.
You're going to have to figure that one out. I'm sorry.
And the president also saying too many protesters have been killed, while acknowledging it's not known yet exactly how many. Activists are reporting more than 2,000 dead in a government crackdown on demonstrations. Earlier, the German chancellor saying he thinks this is the final days and weeks of the Iranian regime. The U.S. Supreme Court considering whether states can bar transgender athletes from women's sports.
If Idaho's law is intended to protect sex-based biological advantages in sports, then attorney Kathleen Hartnett says there's no justification to exclude her client, Lindsay Hecox, from female athletics.
And on this record, Lindsay Hecox has mitigated that advantage because she has suppressed her testosterone for over a year and taken estrogen.
But in arguments, Chief Justice John Roberts suggested,
with respect to the definition of girls, that would, if we adopted that would have to apply across the board
and not simply to the area of athletics.
A similar challenge out of West Virginia is also being considered by the U.S. Supreme Court. Opinions are expected by the summer.
Fox's Jared Halpern in Washington. Former President Bill Clinton refusing to testify before a House panel's Jeffrey Epstein probe. He was supposed to appear today. Clinton's attorneys calling the subpoena legally unenforceable. The committee chair says no one is accusing the Clintons of any wrongdoing. America is listening to Fox News.
Honey, that flu keeping you up? Did you take NyQuil Intense Flu?
Nah, I got this. Okay, I don't got this.
Yeah, you need NyQuil Intense Flu.
Undo your flu with NyQuil Intense Flu. NyQuil Intense Flu provides powerful relief of your flu symptoms so you can sleep.
You do got this.
NyQuil Intense Flu. The nighttime sniffling, aching fever. Best sleep with the flu. Medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Hear that? That's Mike. He took ZzzQuil Pure Z's, so now he's sleeping soundly on a Sunday night. ZzzQuil Pure Z's are fast-acting melatonin gummies with a complementary botanical blend to help Mike get the sleep he needs to wake up refreshed and ready to conquer Monday.
Let's do this Monday.
ZzzQuil Pure Z's, just for sleep. Really great sleep. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Use as directed.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
We should top out close to 59, 60 degrees this afternoon. Tonight, clouds take control quickly, 39. Wednesday, lots of clouds, northwest wind. It's colder in the 30s, but dropping into the low 30s by late in the day. Thursday, sunny and cold, 32, 42 on Friday. Second cold front comes through late Friday. We're only in the 20s for the weekend. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist, Dave Murray.
The Annie Fry Show is sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. If your furnace breaks down, call Air Comfort Service for a $99 service call. And don't forget, if your furnace breaks, even on a holiday, Air Comfort Service offers 24/7 emergency service. AirComfortService.com.
Annie Fry, Ryan Wiggins, Brad Ray.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride. What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
For goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
This is breaking news. President Trump has just issued a major statement about the protests in Iran. He posted to Truth Social saying, Iranian patriots keep protesting. Take over your institutions. Save the names of the killers and abusers. They will pay a big price. He goes on to say, I have canceled all meetings with Iranian officials until the senseless killing of protesters stops. Help is on its way. MIGA, which stands for Make Iran Great Again, signed by the president. Again, this is a major statement from President Trump as the White House continues to monitor the situation on the ground in Iran.
So you have Trey Yanks reporting for Fox News there and talking about the developments occurring in with Iran. These protests are really a sight to see if you haven't been able to take them in quite yet. Watching the people of Iran protest this government. The question I keep asking myself, and I'm excited to ask our next guest, is this moment in time in Iran different than the others that we've seen here in a country from the United States perspective that has had a lot of attention on Iran for quite some time? Let's talk to our guest, our friend, Jim Carafano, Senior Counselor to the President and E.W. Richardson Fellow for International Engagement at the Heritage Foundation. Jim, Happy New Year to you. Good to have you back. So much news. Been waiting to have this conversation with you.
Yeah, so there's two things that make the Iran situation where we've actually seen annual protests and rioting really for over a decade now, why this makes it different. One is, don't make no mistake, this is a regime that is deeply weakened. It's not just sanctions and other things, but the devastating Israeli military attacks, the U.S. bombing on the Iran nuclear facility, essentially taking their nuclear program offline. That is so deeply humiliating from the government. And remember, in this part of the world, honor is power. You're respected if you are feared. So when Israel and the United States show that the Iranian military can't even defend the regime, that makes them look incredibly weak. That's one. The second is whether it was the Green Revolution or whatever, this is the first time really since the Iran Revolution, where a U.S. president has stood up and said, fight for your freedom and your future. They've never had that kind of support and that kind of we are with you before. I mean, you remember, the Green Revolution was probably the closest they came to toppling the government. Obama not only said nothing, he said, oh, well, we don't want to say anything because we want to negotiate with the Iranian government. So, we don't want them to be weakened. I mean, it was horrible. Of course, all they did was get an Iran deal. It made everything worse. So I do think this is different. And if you look at the intelligence assessments, which have been quite cautious on this, they've become, I think, more optimistic that this might happen. And when I talk to people from the region who are tracking events, they are more serious talking about. I've actually had people in the region say, hey, maybe we should start talking about what happens after this government is gone. I've only been in this job for 25 years. Nobody's ever called me and made a request like that before.
Wow. Jim Carafano speaking with us, foreign policy expert, and always gracious to be with us. We're always appreciative of it. I was going to ask you, what's the natural order of events here? It seems as though the protests are growing. The violence against the protesters is growing. So they're at a flashpoint. If this government fails, I guess there are a variety of things that could happen next. Do you have a prediction?
Right. And this is where I wouldn't predict the future. The thing I always say about these regimes is whether it's the collapse of the Soviet Union or, is in one way these things are so predictable. These regimes are rotten to the core and they're going to fall. But look, even the people inside the regime don't even know what's going on. So because this is that real lack of situational awareness on how fragile a society actually is, we're never surprised that this happens, but we're always surprised the day it happens. Because how do we know it's different this time, right? Yeah. So, and where do we go from here? So I'm assuming that the U.S. is looking something more like the Venezuelan model, which is you take out the malefactors, and then the existing government, the U.S. is willing to talk to as long as they achieve certain milestones in transition. This is kind of not even occupation. I don't even say occupation light because it's a very, very different model than we saw in places like Panama even, or Iraq or Afghanistan, or even what we did, after World War II. It's a very, very different model. It's not the United States going in and taking over. It's like putting the country in receivership and telling the people that have, the authority of the bank, you guys kind of get things worked out, and then we'll just kind of oversee it. And so that appears to be what the president is looking for in Iraq as well. I don't think anybody credibly thinks that the son of the Shah is going to walk in and take over the country. He may be a symbol of the rebellion. There may be external people who think that but there's still a lot of, we remember the old regime and we don't want that back. Super unlikely that the U.S. government would just hand it over to the Shah son, much like he didn't hand it over to the exiled, vice president or the exiled presidential candidate. So, but having said that, can you control events, right? Can you keep things from really spinning completely out of control and just melt? Nobody knows the answer to this. I think Trump has a pretty good track record so far of management, but once things start to spin out of control, who knows if it's manageable or not?
Yeah, certainly. We'll have to watch and see. Speaking with Jim Carafano, Senior Counselor to the President and E.W. Richardson Fellow for International Engagement at the Heritage Foundation. I want to switch gears here with a little time that we have left with you. Jim Carafano speaking with us now. The protests in Minnesota, you've got Mayor Jacob Fry there reacting immediately to the death of Rachel Good, who tried to run her car over an ICE agent, saying to ICE to get the F out. Do you think that the administration's efforts to follow through on the deportation promise that they made during the campaign, do you believe that they're putting their foot on the pedal adequately? Do you want to see them do it more? Do you want to see them let off?
Well, first of all, I think they have complete legal authority and efforts to kind of get judges to throw. I don't think that's going to work. Look, I mean, in a sense, the left has forced the hand. I mean, they've moved from protesting, which is your legal right. Even if you want to break the law, you want to do civil disobedience, get yourself arrested. I mean, that's an honored American tradition. Have that. But they've moved into active opposition of impeding federal law enforcement officers in the performance of their duty, and not only violating the law by impeding a legal federal law enforcement activity, but actually endangering the lives of law enforcement individuals and others. So they're committing serious crimes. And their goal is to stop the deportation of illegal aliens. It doesn't matter if you're a rapist or murderer. It doesn't matter who you are. They don't want anybody deported, including criminals that could attack and kill their children. They don't care. That is, I don't think any U.S. government can stand by and accept that. Yeah. I mean, and it's completely irresponsible. I mean, Obama threw like 5 million illegal aliens out of the country. Nobody declared, a war on ICE under Obama. So it's just nonsensical, right? I mean, it's nonsensical. I mean, it makes perfect sense, but it is literally moved from civil disobedience and protest in a unbelievably, completely illegal acts, many of them fomented and supported by actual state officials. If the U.S. government stands for that, essentially you have brushed aside the Constitution of the United States and the notion that things that are preemptively given to the federal government as their authorities, that a state could just take them away from that. That is just literally a challenge to the Constitution of the United States, saying we don't like the deal that we signed up for. I don't think it works that way.
Last question before we let you go. A lot of people will kind of attempt to compromise, meet in the middle, and say, I'm in favor of deporting people who have an illegal status and are violent offenders. The illegal status is not enough for some of these individuals to say, yes, they should be deported. Would you advocate that if you're here illegally, you should be deported?
Yeah, it is. And look, it's beyond the individual. The point is if you want a secure border, the only real security is the fact that if people know they get here illegal, they're going to be kicked out again. It's the deterrent value of that. And so if you don't kick people out of the country, you lose that deterrent value, and then you never shut off the run. And I mean, this is why we've had 1.5 million people self-deport, right? Just leave the country because they take the enforcement of the law seriously. So, it doesn't work that way. I mean, we only want to prosecute murderers. So if you attempt to murder, we're not going to prosecute you. If you want to hire somebody for murder, we're not going to prosecute you. If you want to commit other crimes, we're not going to prosecute. That's how you wind up with more murderers. Not that all illegal immigrants are murderers, but you have to enforce the law. And the only way you can secure the border and enforce the law is to bring real deterrent value. And the only way you can bring real deterrent value is you find people that are here illegally, they should be deported, period.
Jim Carafano, good to have you back. Happy New Year to you. We look forward to having you back again soon.
All right. Talk to you next week.
Yep. Sounds great.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Senior Counselor to the President and E.W. Richardson Fellow for International Engagement at the Heritage Foundation. On X at JJ Carafano. That's the YouTube poll question for today. We're asking you to participate as well. Who do you want to see deported? Your options today are no deportations. You're not in favor of any. You're in favor of anyone with an illegal status being deported. So if you're here illegally, you got to get gone. Or the third option for you is violent offenders who have illegal status. Those are your three for the YouTube live chat poll for today. So go to the NFRI YouTube channel and vote right there in the live chat. But we'd also love to have your texts as well. 314-241-9797. Text at 314-241-9797. We'll feature some of your text messages on the air. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Touch me, I won't let it go. Now I stand and I feel for more. Won't you touch me, I won't let it go. Yes, I found it.
Point Pest Control. That's point with an E. PointPestControl.com. Call 636-798-0023 for the best in the business when it comes to making your home or your business pest free. I have one of my quarterly treatments. It's always amazing to me when my quarterly treatment comes up because that means a whole nother quarter has flown by. We're getting our home treated again this week. And the different seasons bring in different kinds of pests. You've got spiders and mice and critters that are trying to nest in your home because it's cold outside. So they work their way in and then they put up shop and then they procreate. It's disgusting. It's gross. You got to get rid of them. But that's why you call Point Pest Control. That's why we did, because we had spiders in our basement. Wolf spiders. Gross. This is where you all start messaging me like, they eat the other. I don't care. I want them all gone. I want them all dead. I hired Point Pest Control. They were all dead. They're gone. I don't have pests. The treatments that they do in your home on a quarterly basis, if you sign up for the service plan that I have, they are safe for your pets. They are safe for your kids. They're safe for you, indoor and outdoor as well. 636-798-0023. Find them online and mention my name for an extra discount at pointpestcontrol.com.
New tax resolution firms are popping up every day with high-paid celebrity endorsers, advertising ridiculous claims in their TV ads. That's why they have the tiny, unreadable disclaimers at the bottom of the screen. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. Our ads never have those ridiculous, fast-talking, tiny disclaimers at the end because, simply put, there are no guarantees when it comes to the IRS and wiping out tax bills. And we don't make promises we can't keep. Of course, there are ways the Lance Drury Law Firm can help resolve your tax debt, but no company can guarantee it will eliminate it. This is why their clients call the Lance Drury Law Firm when those promises don't pan out. If you have tax problems, you have legal problems, call me, Lance Drury in St. Louis, at 314-260-6120 or visit Lance, D-R-U-R-Y, law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
I'm Ultima Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Every time one of my children started driving, it was terrifying. Thousands of accidents happen across the country. We see it every day. If you've been injured in a car accident, call us.
Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Hey, it's your radio buddy Jimmy Fallon, and dig this, I am coming to the loo.
Call now to see Jimmy Fallon. 314-241-9797. That's 314-241-9797 to see Jimmy Fallon at the factory on January 24th. Be the 9th caller now.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and newnordicusa.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
Annie Fry is St. Louis conservative.
Stop me on the corner, swear you hit me like a vision. I wasn't expecting, but who am I to tell fate where it's supposed to go with it? Don't you blink, you might miss it. See, we got a right to just love it or leave it. You find it and keep it, cause it ain't every day you get the chance to say, oh, this is how it's
All right, welcome back. Good to have Jim Carafano back on in the new year. He's a hard man to pin down sometimes because he's literally traveling the world. He's a man in the room, so to speak, and we're always grateful that he's able to give us some time to discuss these really important issues. I think that one of the most interesting things about the Iran protests is that it actually looks like there's staying power in a way that would potentially change the course of governance in Iran. But then what happens next? Nobody knows. It's not like, oh, well, when this happens, then that happens. That's not going to be the case there. And it's not going to be easy. It's going to be tumultuous. And it's definitely going to be there's going to be a time frame here where the instability is going to be very dangerous for a lot of people. Fortunately, we took out their nuclear sites, so nobody's going to get a hold of a button and get trigger happy.
Right.
I watched Maverick this weekend. Again, Top Gun. Have you seen that yet?
Yeah. Oh, I've only seen Maverick. I've never seen the original.
And I said this, like right after we did the strikes in Iran, but the whole plan, like I think that they just did Top Gun.
It went just about as well.
I know. Like, and they never say Iran in the movie. They never say anywhere specific in the movie. It's kind of probably more of a Russian type of a setup or whatever. The climate is cold and frigid and snowy and that type of stuff. But it's just like they were like, well, what if we did the Top Gun thing? And then Trump was like, I love that movie. Let's try it. I didn't. People talked about that, and I'm not the only person who's discussed it. But rewatching it this weekend, I'm like, holy crap. It really, really is. Top Gun Maverick is a perfect movie.
It's weird because having not seen the original, I still am familiar with some of the characters because they're just so pervasive. And the characters, the caricatures of characters are extremely predictable, and yet it works fine.
I feel like, are you talking about Maverick? You're talking about Maverick.
Yeah, I'm talking about Maverick.
I feel like the reason the movie works so well is because they fully give in to this is a movie.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's not so much like, I don't know. They just want to tell a really great story that people love.
I just get so tired of movies that are like introducing you to the characters, and here's the jock, and here's the girl who's really good at computers, and whatever. And that movie doesn't do that exact thing, but it does that kind of with the caricatures of the people, like, this guy's all cocky, and this girl's his old love, and like it's real predictable. Yet there's nothing wrong with it.
But it's predictable because it's a storyline that works. I don't think
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't think it's predictable because it's that there was an effort put into it, which is not necessarily what you're saying. But the other thing, too, about Top Gun Maverick, this time when I rewatched it, the parallels to the original Top Gun, which I guess you don't have any idea, are all throughout the entire movie. They tell the exact same. They have so many callbacks to the original Top Gun in ways that are so nuanced. I've probably seen that movie 20 times. And the callbacks are so nuanced, it doesn't feel like you're being force-fed something. Like, here's another spoonful of Top Gun in the 80s. But, like, scene for scene, they've got the initial character development that takes place in this beautiful, beautiful bar that's, like, right on the ocean. But they're in the Navy. All of this character development that is in really fun dialogue in the bar. So you get to know a lot about people really quickly, instantly in these conversations. And then Rooster, is that the younger one? Is that Miles Teller? Rooster?
Yeah.
Goose is the other one. I was trying to think of it. I'm
Who's
like,
Glenn Powell play in that movie? I can't remember
Hangman.
that. Okay.
So you have this character development that takes place at a bar, which is exactly how you get to meet Iceman and Maverick, Tom Cruise and Val Kilmer in the first movie and everything. But the way they manifest it is so different. But it's definitely a callback to the same thing. Over and over and over again they do it. It's just such a good movie. Like, I watched it, I think, I watched it on Saturday. I would go home and watch it again today and enjoy it just as much as ever. It does not get old. The YouTube poll for today, who do you want to see deported? No deportations, anyone with an illegal status, violent offenders with illegal status. Those are your three options. You can text us at 314-241-9797. Or when you go to vote in the poll, you can leave a comment as well. We'd love to feature it. GWIB said, especially during a midterm year, we need to scrutinize every move. We can't afford to make any mistakes, giving the left any ammunition to argue against us. So for now, just the worst offenders. So he's saying play it safe. What does the text line say?
A lot of people weighing in on the text line. This one just came in as we've been talking. It says all illegal aliens must go. I have never seen this level of unhinged, stupid people. I think that's talking about the protesters.
Yeah, you're going to need to be more specific.
This one says, start with the worst and move out from there. Anyone here illegally caught up in the worst first net is out, and then overstaying visas, then everyone else. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
Trump's listening. This is huge.
Keep all the illegals. They love America. Deport all the protesters.
Well, I didn't put that in there. I should have had a fourth option, which was other.
I would love to see Biden deported for constantly lying to us and trying to ruin this
Where
country.
would you send him?
That's a good question.
They should send him to one of those makeshift Oval Offices that people like to pose in.
Man.
Just let him keep going.
I did not get this deep into these. These are funny. Especially deport Rapinoe on the soccer team, and also
Is this all the same person?
Colin Kaepernick. No, this is different. They're all different.
Different
These
people are
different
just
people.
listing
Yes.
preferred
Yes.
deportations.
These are all different people. Let's see. This is another tentacle of the Marxist Democrat Party and their efforts to undermine every facet of our society.
Yeah.
Every individual residing within the borders of the United States of America illegally are to be removed by whatever means necessary. They all got to go.
I'm really actually pretty surprised that I think that the strength of the issue in the campaign was kind of where the whole phrase 80-20 issue became a common speak thing. Like, oh, that's another 80-20 issue. That's another 80-20 issue. I don't know if deportations was all the way up to 80-20, but it was probably a 70-30 issue. There was overwhelming bipartisan support to participate in deportations of people who are here illegally. That was a broadly supported topic, and it has not waned.
No, I haven't seen polling on this, since maybe November, but as of then, this was still one of Trump's top polled issues, was illegal immigration.
Imagine campaigning on that, having a broad bipartisan support and not doing it.
He's doing it.
Yeah, go vote. Who do you want to see deported? And you can weigh in two different ways immediately with us by commenting on the AnyFry YouTube. We got a live broadcast up every day, and there's a live chat constantly going there. We'd love to see new faces, so come join us there. And also texting us directly at 314-241-9797. When we come back, Paul Mauro is going to join us. We're going to talk about law enforcement there in Minnesota, what they are enduring, and what is being done to protect those law enforcement individuals who are facing heightening protests, yes, in the streets of Minneapolis once again. Paul Mauro on the AnyFry Show next.
Anything I've ever had, 'cause you're so damn beautiful. Read it. It's signed and delivered.
When it comes to affordable term life insurance, everyone's whistling the Big Lou tune. If you're over 50, maybe a bit porky, or have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost about $200 a month. Even if you're not in perfect health, call Big Lou, because he specializes in finding big chunks of affordable term life insurance for just about everyone. Don't let diabetes or other health glitches keep you from owning $500,000 to $1 million or more of term life insurance. For affordable term life insurance, call Big Lou. Don't hesitate. Call 800-700-6898, 800-700-6898, or visit biglou.com.
Call Big Lou, don't hesitate. 800-700-6898. Call Big Lou, don't hesitate. 800-700-6898. Visit biglou.com.
Now that we're getting older, we've been putting more thought into maintaining our health.
We knew the water we drink every day could be filled with contaminants, so
we called Leaf Home Water Solutions.
They came to our home and did a free water test and gave us the analysis right away.
We were shocked at what we saw.
They found heavy metals like iron and copper.
Our own tap water was putting our health at risk, but Leaf Home Water Solutions made it easy to get safer water from every tap and hose. A whole home solution.
They have more than 250 product combinations and designed a system that fits our needs and budget. The installation took less than a day.
With Leaf Home Water Solutions, our water is safer and healthier. When we drink, when we cook, when we shower, even when we garden.
We feel better about our health.
Thanks to Leaf Home Water Solutions.
Schedule your free home water test today at leafhome.com/free and save 15% on all home water treatment systems. That's leafhome.com/free for your free home water test and 15% off. leafhome.com/free.
You know Gray Bar for electrical parts, but there's one more thing you may not be thinking of us for that can help maximize your next project's total value. Our pre-project planning services are designed to help you win the bid, save on labor costs, and keep your installers productive across your entire build. The sooner you call us, the better. Because when we're there from the beginning, we can anticipate your needs and help you solve problems before they become problems. Yep, Gray Bar does that.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how linking to the market is much safer than owning the market for your retirement savings. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go to retirementkey.com.
The YouTube live chat poll is, who do you want to see deported? Should there be no deportations, anyone with an illegal status, or violent offenders with illegal status?
Can I interject here real quick? The question where I said, who do you want to see deported, we really wanted to relegate it to those three options instead of the list of people. That's my bad. Poor wording on my part.
By the way, a text just came in right before we went into the time check here. It says you should deport Biden to Easter Island and tell him he can't come back until he finds all the eggs.
It's terrible.
That's not one of the options in the poll, though. No deportations, anyone with an illegal status, or violent offenders with illegal status. Let us know what you think. We'll give you the results at the end of the show. It is 1:31. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
For details and a list of all station contest rules, visit www.971talk.com/rules. From the gateway city to the front lines of freedom. 97.1 FM Talk. St. Louis Conservative.
I can't win, I can't reign, I will never win this game without you, without you.
What people are dealing with.
Yeah. I mean, we don't use the word invasion lightly. What we are seeing is thousands, plural, thousands of federal agents coming into our city. And yeah, they're having a tremendous impact on day-to-day life. And it's a negative one. And whether that's kids that are trying to get to school or businesses that are trying to open, that's police officers that are responding to 911 calls. It's just about being able to conduct daily life right here in our city. And look, this is not about fraud. When you have a fraudster, you investigate, you charge, you prosecute, you hold the person accountable, and then they get put in jail as an individual. They get put in jail as an individual. You do not hold an entire community or an entire city accountable for the actions of the fraudsters. That's not a novel concept. That's just the way this works in American society, and we should be abiding by that.
Good, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
So there's the mayor, Jacob Fry in Minneapolis, who Minnesota is now suing President Trump over the Minneapolis immigration operation. They've got a problem with the way it is going down. And, you know, you could really sum it up in the mayor's original words. Right after Rachel Good was shot, before anybody really knew any of the details, he told ICE to get the F out of Minneapolis. Let's talk to our favorite law enforcement. Paul Mauro back with us, Fox News contributor, retired NYPD inspector and attorney. Paul, thank you for the time today. It's a pleasure to have you back with us.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. When you hear a mayor, you know, I think of a mayor as somebody who's supposed to bring leadership, calm, peace to an area and make those community members feel good and safe in an organized community. It seems to me like he's trying to throw a match into barrels of gasoline with the way he's reacting to the law enforcement efforts in Minneapolis. What kind of effect do his words have on that situation?
I do. You're right. I mean, very clearly, he is trying to exacerbate the situation, I think, just to pump his own brand. I don't think he realizes how poorly this plays nationally. He's actually an attorney. Big shock. He was a defense attorney, a civil rights attorney, so we know where he's going to land on this issue. There's just nothing law enforcement can do. And his performance has been disgraceful. The Minneapolis police have been put in a box. I don't blame the rank and file. They're just doing what they have been ordered to do. Chief O'Hara, in my estimation, has performed shamefully because the ICE officers have been put in a situation where they are entitled to less protection than your average citizen because they go in to conduct their lawful, that is lawful, emphasis on lawful, especially since the country voted for this enforcement, they go in to conduct their lawful duties, and the locals will not even support keeping the riots from occurring. If the Minneapolis Police Department were doing their jobs, then Nicole Good would be alive, that the situation never would have escalated the way it did. Fry knows all of that, and all of this is in service to his political ambitions. He knows better. He has turned his city into a laughingstock, in my estimation, and a place, unless you're on the far, far left, that nobody wants to move to, nobody wants to invest in, and he owns it.
You know, I think to myself, Paul, I live in the state of Illinois, and we've been having a sanctuary status in Illinois for years now. I think it even preceded Governor J.B. Pritzker, unfortunately, where you kind of create an atmosphere where chaos is eventually going to ensue. And a lot of these different sanctuary cities and states have had these status where they're welcoming people to a certain place and offering them protections that I don't really understand how they have the authority to do it. And then you get this situation like what is existing in Minneapolis and Minnesota, where there are a lot of people who are skirting the law. They've been invited and to come there and been told they'll be provided protection. And when the federal government comes in and say this is not how it works, everybody acts surprised.
Yeah, I mean, very clearly they've been using federal money, so it doesn't hit their bottom line. They've been using federal money to buy Somali votes that they all need. That's why you're hearing Waltz might resign. Federal investigation's ongoing. I think the person who's closest to the hot seat right now is Keith Ellison, the Attorney General, who never did a single thing, from my knowledge, and according to the reporting, relative to trying to stop or audit any of this fraud. And in fact, when the Feeding Our Future perps, who were eventually rolled up, met with him to complain that the auditors were trying to close up some of the funding streams that they were getting, Ellison, the Attorney General now, who's supposed to be safeguarding the people's money and interests, sided with Feeding Our Future. And then, lo and behold, in the ensuing weeks, and I have all this up on my blog, the Ops Desk, the people from Feeding Our Future donated thousands to his reelection campaign and to his sons, which is, of course, the NGO Democratic cycle that we've seen. They've raised pandering to a fine art, and I think actually to the point that it's almost a RICO. And you and I both know how it goes, right? You form an NGO, you apply for the money to Democratic friendlies, they give you the money, you donate some of that money back to the candidates, everybody takes care of everybody, and federal tax money goes down the drain. In this instance, however, billions also went to Mogadishu, al-Shabaab, and in my estimation, likely Somali pirates.
Wow. Oh, I mean, the situation is so entirely grave. And, let's take it down to, the street level, because there's a huge political battle brewing here that's going to come to a head shortly. But in the meantime, men and women who serve in uniform, who serve the federal government as ICE agents, are there enforcing laws that are on the books. These are not angry people who hate people who are out trying to disappear people. That's what the left says. You've got men and women who are trying to enforce these laws, and the politicians, the Mayor Frys of the world, are trying to dehumanize them and make them the enemy. And it's a very dangerous situation for those agents to be in right now. What are your thoughts when you're, somebody who's been attached to law enforcement, when you think about these men and women who are out there trying to carry out the laws of our country?
Well, let's go to the street level. So if anybody who's never had a car driven at them in anger, and I have, doesn't know how terrifying that is. And so when people say, well, he should have only fired once, or he could have fired twice, but the third shot was too far. When you consider the whole thing, that is the firing, took place in about a half a second. Yeah. And when you understand that the officer was being conscientious in filming that, because ICE has not rolled out body cameras to all of their personnel yet. And so he knew it was developing into an arrest situation. That's a situation where you have to put your body camera on. He doesn't have one. So he used his phone instead. And thank God he did, because he captured the most telling moment there where the car comes at him. It does hit him. And in fact, you hear the impact, and you can see from his perspective how fast it happens. And that matters, because that's the metric, the totality of the circumstances as it appeared to the officer in question. Now, that doesn't mean that the whole thing went perfectly, because it didn't. You'd much rather have somebody alive, of course, because realistically they were protesting. They shouldn't have been there. They were committing a federal felony by impeding ICE, but that doesn't come with a death penalty. Of course not. But the conditions that were created that led to this go down to the Jacob Frys and the Adam Waltzes of the world, Tim Waltzes of the world, who know that they're pushing this cannon fodder out there. These are people in many instances who, in my estimation, are borderline, who are mentally ill, who have succumbed to some kind of Trump derangement syndrome, and rather than being with their kids or leading productive lives, they're living off the pittance that they can get from an NGO to go out and protest against officers, federal officers, who are only conducting their lawful duty And as the record now shows, picking up murderers, rapists, child predators, etc. Is that who Jacob Fry has decided to align with? Because if you're sitting where most of the country is, who's getting the facts, it is.
Yeah, I think that when you immediately when this moment happened, we've got Fox News in the studio here with us, and we see an officer involved shooting that involved a protester. You can kind of see how both stories, both sides of the issue are going to spin out and manifest themselves. But in the middle of all that, you'd hope that the mayor wouldn't be the first person to inflame the situation for his own political gain. I mean, this woman, Rachel Good, she lost her life because she believed something that I think comes from an alternate reality. And the context that has come out since then of how she was antagonizing these agents, that was her purpose there, was to antagonize agents, and she had been doing that all day. And then she drives her vehicle at this officer. What's it like to serve when you've got whistles blowing, insults, cuss words, threats being lobbied at you, and you've got to stay cool and stick to the mission?
Yeah, look, every cop has that story. Here in New York, of course, this is Protest Central. I was out there with my people, even though I was commanding officer of the legal bureau. I didn't have to be. I could have stayed in the rear with the gear. But if my people are out there, you got to be out there. So I was out there during the summer of love, watching bricks come raining down on my people. Nothing hit me, but a number of my people got seriously hurt. And it's nerve-wracking. It doesn't matter that you have numbers. You're outnumbered. A large crowd is terrifying. We'd already had 2 Molotov cocktails thrown at us. In one instance by attorneys, if you can believe it. And, of course, they got a slap on the wrist. So, yeah, it's very, very scary. The good news is that we are about to get, I believe it's 5,000 or 10,000, you'd have to check my numbers, new ICE agents under the big, beautiful bill. And what that means is when they go out now, they can go in larger force. They won't be as badly outnumbered. And you can take the people that are doing these things on federal charges. And that is a very clear-cut charge, 18 U.S.C. 111, that is impeding the work of the federal government, of a federal agent conducting lawful duties. And that means you're looking at a federal felony. If you're throwing things like fireworks, which they did last night at the officers, that is an enhancement. You could be doing real time in federal prison with some hard characters. That's on your record. Your life just went sideways. You're going to have to pay for the lawyer. The NGOs are going to disappear on you because now you're not valuable to them anymore. And you're going to realize that you wasted your life. And they're going to have dedicated arrest teams now. They're going to have the bodies to do it. They're going to be going in force because very clearly in some of these places, they can't count on the locals who have been ordered by the mayor to stand down. And that's the circumstance of what's going on in Minneapolis. They have been ordered. Chief O'Hara let it slip at the press conference that any call that comes into 9/11, which presumably some did before the Nicole Good situation escalated, they go to a special quote-unquote supervisor with the police department. In other words, they go into a black hole. And that's why no locals were out there to calm the situation down. Yeah. And, had they been out there, the whole thing never escalates. But it doesn't work politically for Waltz and Fry. Waltz and Fry are willing to allow these things to become highly charged and potentially dangerous because it works for their narrative better. But the useful idiots who are Marxist communists that are out there as the cannon fodder, for lack of a better term, are the tools, political tools, of the powers that be in Minnesota writ large. And if you just put the locals out there to keep things calm, well, you know what? Nicole Good might have gotten a summons or at best a minor misdemeanor that, you can plead down to nothing. She'd be alive and there wouldn't be all of this hullabaloo. And that's what happens when you don't do your job at the ground level.
Paul Mauro speaking with us. Last question before we let you go. Does this get worse in Minneapolis before it gets better?
It very well could, because there just doesn't seem to be any adults in the room telling them to calm down. And the Trump administration knows that they have the supremacy clause on their side. I'm sure they have tons of targets all teed up. And it really comes down to the following. If Waltz and Fry wanted to end this, they could end it in 2 strokes tomorrow. They could say, number one, first of all, they could say, don't attack any ICE agents. All right, that would be a nice start. But they could also say, we're going to cooperate. And you know what? We will give you the worst of the worst. We will give you the people that we currently hold in jail who are wanted for horrible crimes that are deportable. And we'll cooperate with you to get them out. And then the Trump administration would have nowhere to go with their narrative. They wouldn't have to do these operations. They wouldn't have to go in and do sweeps. And the whole thing would end. But the fact that they will never, ever do that tells you where Waltz and Fry are coming from.
Yeah. Exactly. They're getting what they want. It's disgusting. Paul Mauro, we're grateful for your time, for your expertise. Fox News contributor, retired NYPD inspector, and I encourage people to check out theopsdesk.org. Thank you for being with us. We look forward to having you back.
Anytime. Thank you, man.
Take care. Bye-bye. I think about the death of Renee Nicole Good and what she believed when she went and did the things she did, the protesting that she, I assume that these people are full-throated into what they're out there doing. They believe it. And it's just not a version of reality that I can relate to, that I think you probably can relate to think that you would not understand that if you're in your vehicle and you've got law enforcement around you, that you could in any way, shape, or form hit the gas pedal, lurch the car forward towards an officer that you've been swearing at, that you've been antagonizing, that you've been threatening. It's tragic that she lost her life. I think if you go back and if that officer could go back and change the situation in the scenario, would he act differently? I'm certain that he understands why he did what he did, but that doesn't mean that he would be happy that that was the end result of it. It's a tragedy. It's an absolute tragedy. And the people brainwashing these individuals to think that this type of behavior is acceptable. I mean, everybody's saying it, but it's not wrong. It's the FAFO of our time, and it's very sad. It's very scary to think that we could be anticipating another story just like this today, tomorrow, the next day. These fires are being stoked for political gain, and they're willing to sacrifice their protesting minions, the lives of actual real people who have souls, for a political point. It's horrific. Who do you want to see deported? No deportations, anyone with illegal status, or violent offenders with illegal status. Andy Fry YouTube channel. Go vote. Let's take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Without you, I won't run, I won't fly.
Home Shield Foundation Repairs.com. The number to call, 314-271-9900. That's 314-271-9900. Here is a list of things that Home Shield Foundation Repair can do for you. Not exclusive, a bit inclusive. When you reach out to Matt Hayes of Home Shield Foundation Repair, you can have him come talk about that big problem in your basement. The water that gets in, it freaks you out. It makes you mad. You know it's going to cost. You're going to have to invest, and you're going to have to fix it because the problem, water getting places it doesn't belong, never makes anything better. That problem only gets worse. And I've seen some of the photos that show the difference between here's before it hit the fan and here's after. And that after becomes I have to fix this right now. This is an immediate situation, and it's going to be more costly. Home Shield Foundation Repair and Matt Hayes can be reached at 314-271-9900. That's 314-271-9900. Call Matt Hayes and schedule an inspection, the opportunity for him to come out and look at what you're dealing with so he can give you some factual information so you can get on the road to recovery. 314-271-9900, HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com.
Hey, it's your main man, Jimmy Fallon, and I am headed your way. Saturday, January 24th at the Factory in Chesterfield. We are defunding the joke police. So grab your tickets at 971fmtalk.com/events, and I will see you in the loo.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You sort through tons of resumes and you get too many so-so applicants. You're just waiting for someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now, there's a place where you can meet them fast. ZipRecruiter.
Need to hire right away. Start your search for strong candidates. The right fit awaits. Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/radio right now to try it for free, and you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Rhino Shield is engineered to outlast paint by a lot, backed with our 25-year transferable warranty. Paint a house, shield a home. We do brick, block, stucco, asbestos, steel, aluminum, cedar, and more. We are the only coating company selected by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where all 3 episodes concentrate on unpainted brick. If you maintain or own a business with a tired-looking building, you owe it to yourself to look at Rhino Shield and our beautifully durable color schemes. Evaluations are free. We're making buildings pop and be noticed again, from Champaign to the Lake of the Ozarks, exceeding expectations every day with our products, people, and performance. Now is the time to call 877-25-RHINO, 877-25-RHINO, or go to 877-25rhino.com and see how honest and transparent we really are. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
This is the rhythm of the night. This is the rhythm of my life.
What's the dumbest thing that you ever did? Is it like with a group of boys when we were talking a little bit earlier? Well, yesterday I talked about whether or not I should show that video of the crazy to hot scale. Like, should I show this to my son to be like, all right, here's everything you need to know about women in a 3-minute video with a guy with a dry erase board and a marker and a tie? You guys said, let Jared handle that one.
Mm-hmm. Did he?
We didn't, that wasn't high on it. I was in Sparta last night. Leave me alone. I've got a lot on my plate. I couldn't teach him about women last night.
Well, maybe Jared did.
Maybe, probably not.
Probably didn't talk to you about it.
He's like, look at your mom. She's nuts. I asked Jared when he watched that movie, or watched that little video, that 3-minute, I go, before you watch this, like, started the video, set the table, and, you know, they say the hot scale is 0 to 10. Just forget about women who are a 5 or less. Right. In your eyes, now every woman is going to be assessed differently by every man. And the crazy scale for women was not from 0 to 10, it was from 4 to 10, because there's no woman that's not at least a 4 crazy.
Right.
That was from the science. This weekend, my son went to a party with his buddies, a get-together, whatever. They have a sleepover, and I don't know what kind of nonsense that goes on, but I'm pretty sure it's just like a larger size person version of what they wanted to do when they were 8.
Okay.
Just lots of
Nerf guns.
Energy, Nerf guns.
Climbing things.
Baja Blast, which is today's surge.
Okay.
Son got a car, and boys doing what boys do decided to, let's take Charlie's key away from him, and let's just keep it and hide it from him. And at the home that they went to, there's a trail out in the woods, and it was dark. And they went out into the woods on this trail, and they lost his key.
Oh, man. Was it a smart key? Was it one of those that you get like $450?
Yeah.
Is one of those.
Like unlocks, locks your car.
Yeah.
Yes. So I get a message from Charlie at 9:30. In a state of a bit of panic, Mom, we lost the key. And I talked him through it, and I'm like, okay, let's just figure this out. Like, the key does not cease to exist. It's somewhere. We just have to find it. Which ended up in me going to my parents' house to get my mom's metal detector.
Oh, man.
I think I picked it up at just a little before 11 p.m. I have to go back and check the times. By the way, I didn't get to see the last 15 minutes of Maverick. So that's the part that was the most upsetting to me. I was in the middle, and right when, like, they'd already hit the second target. Miracle number 2 had already happened in Maverick. So I go out there, and it's so funny. Like, they were screwing around with him. I told him, I go, were they making fun of you? He's like, no, they were just busting on me. It's just like what guys do or whatever. But then they were like, oh, crap. And I told my son after we found it. Metal detected the trail. Pitch black, beautiful stars in the sky. You could see all of them.
You just found it without the metal detector.
No, we found it with the metal detector. We had 2 metal detectors going. I had my mom's, and they had one at the house. And I think one of the kids who initially was a part of the shenaniganery to take the key away from him was the other one. And one of the boys was like, I remember being on the trail right here. And this is where I picked up a big stick and I threw it as far as I could into the woods. And I'm like, you did what? Oh, no, because he's the one who had the key at the time. He was the last one to know he had it. And so I am like, okay. I take the metal detector and I start heading perpendicular in the direction that the stick was thrown. And the other guy was back there metal detecting around there, and that's where he found it. So he must have thrown the stick, and when he did, the key fell out of the hoodie. And I said to my son, I go, boys do, your age, do a lot of dumb things all of the time. And like 9 out of 10 times, it just turns into a really funny story because nothing really bad happened. Like maybe there was a little bit of excitement there in the middle. The other 10%, 5% of the time, you can't believe that it ended up coming out okay. And that makes the story even cooler. But the other 5% of the time, it ends up bad.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember having those times with your buddies or with your brother? I don't know if you socialized with your brother. Like I could have been pissed about it. I texted my son on the way out. I go, how do you want me to act when I show up? And he wrote back, completely ticked. And then he goes, just kidding, just be normal. I was like, you want me to bring the heat? I can bring the heat. I don't need to. Let's just find the key. So I was chill about it. But do you remember being in those positions where you were outside of your parents' supervision and you had to like rally and get to a solution?
Let me set the scene. Freshly rocked tar road. You know how they do that in the neighborhoods. Just had happened with the week before. We decide this is a good opportunity, not because of that, but in spite of that, to build a ramp.
Ramps are always a good idea. Nothing bad ever happens at the other end of a ramp.
Build a ramp, put it at the bottom of the hill that had just been rocked.
That's the way they would do it in the cartoons.
And then, who's got the guts to do it? And I did not, but one other kid did. And so I'm like, well, if that kid did, I guess I better do it. So I did.
What were you on?
A bike. And the bike went in the air, then went sideways in the air because I was going to beat that guy. And then I landed on the bike, but more on my knees than the bike.
I thought you were going to say something else.
In the road. And I still am in pain today, I think.
Did you get rocks in your knee?
Oh, yeah.
Like picking them out?
Disgusting.
Oh. It could have been worse still.
When I think about cringy things that hurt, that's what my mind goes back to.
We've got X's and Y's in the 2 o'clock hour, and those types of things, that's the difference between boys and girls. That story right there, girls aren't doing that. We'll be right back. Don't play.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon from Michael's Bass. You've upgraded the kitchen, you've invested in your home, so why settle for a bathroom that still feels ordinary? At Michael's Bass, they create elevated bathroom spaces that blend luxury, comfort, and smart design, all tailored to the way you live. This isn't a temporary fix or a quick cover-up. It's a complete transformation, built to last and built to add value to your home. And now is the perfect time to plan for a spring installation. Visit michaelsbass.com or call 636-775-0800. Ask about financing options, including 0% interest. michaelsbass.com.
Hi, I'm Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, America's largest family law firm. During this time of year, difficult relationships sometimes become impossible. If you or someone you care about is facing a family law issue, let us set up a 1-hour Cordell Consult. The Cordell Consult is a meeting with a local attorney who will give you clear guidance about your options, whether it's a separation, a postnuptial agreement, divorce, or custody. CordellCordell.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-777-7777.
That's 314-777-7777. Affordability. Lisa Brady, Fox News, teasing more plans on the way, including for health care.
Later this week, I'll announce our healthcare affordability framework that will reduce premiums for millions.
During a speech in Detroit, repeating his call for health savings accounts, so what had been Obamacare subsidy funding can go directly to individuals. Also highlighting most favored nation deals to lower drug prices.
I mean, think of that. When that alone, we should win the midterms in a landslide.
Democrats argue the president's policies are costing Americans more money. The latest report on inflation shows it holding steady, with consumer prices up 0.3 of a point in December, the same as November. Many economists were expecting an increase. The Treasury Department just reporting a record budget deficit for December, $145 billion, blamed in part on calendar shifts in benefit payments and receipts. But for the first 3 months of the new fiscal year, the deficit is down 15% compared to the same time a year earlier. The U.S. Supreme Court hearing 2 landmark cases over bans of transgender athletes in women's sports.
These cases are so impactful because at the core, they examine whether gender identity applies to federal sex-based protections, with a major point of discussion how biological male athletes who identify as female should be classified under the law.
Fox's Alexandria Hoff at the Supreme Court. The state bans in question in Idaho and West Virginia were struck down in lower courts. A warning to used car buyers and owners about replacement airbag inflators made in China by a company known as DTN and possibly imported illegally. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration says at least 8 drivers have now died in crashes considered survivable using vehicles that had original airbags replaced with substandard airbags. 2 other drivers were seriously injured. America is listening to Fox News.
Oh, how's that flu, babe? Did you take Dayquil Intense Flu yet?
Nah, I got this. Ugh, okay, I don't got this.
You stay on the couch, and I'll grab the Dayquil.
Undo your flu symptoms with Dayquil Intense Flu. Dayquil Intense Flu provides powerful relief of your flu symptoms.
I'm ready for that to-do list.
Wow, you do got this.
Dayquil Intense Flu. The daytime coughing, aching, fever, under your flu medicine. Use as directed, keep out of reach of children.
Hear that? That's Mike. He took ZQL Pure Z's, so now he's sleeping soundly on a Sunday night. ZQL Pure Z's are fast-acting melatonin gummies with a complementary botanical blend to help Mike get the sleep he needs to wake up refreshed and ready to conquer Monday.
Let's do this Monday.
ZQL Pure Z's, just for sleep. Really great sleep.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Use as directed.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
We should top out close to 59, 60 degrees this afternoon. Tonight, clouds take control quickly, 39. Wednesday, lots of clouds, northwest wind. It's colder in the 30s, but dropping into the low 30s by late in the day. Thursday, sunny and cold, 32, 42 on Friday. Second cold front comes through late Friday. We're only in the 20s for the weekend. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist, Dave Murray.
The Annie Fry Show is sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Don't freeze as it gets colder. If your furnace isn't working, Air Comfort Service can get you back in your comfort zone fast with a service call for only $99. Get your furnace serviced. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
Annie Fry, Ryan Wiggins, Brad Ray.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride. What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
For goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Ethan's joining us here in studio. We've got a really big Ethan Sports and Local coming up in about 16 minutes from right now. So stick around for that big news on the Cardinals front. And you said you were listening a little bit to me telling the story about Charlie. He was with his buddies this weekend, and they were boys being boys. And they, I guess, were playing a little keep away with Charlie with the key to his new car. And then over the course of time, they lost the key, and they didn't know where they lost the key. Metal detectors got involved. We found the key. All's well that ends well. You said you had a story kind of similar to that?
Yeah, you know, I was hearing that story. I'm like, oh, that sounds kind of familiar. I'm like, oh, right, because I went through almost the exact same thing. So when I was 16, I worked for the Village of Bethalto Public Works. I would do a lot of, weed eating, just, mowing of the city property and stuff like that. And we had these old work trucks, and being high schoolers, we would, there was a bunch of equipment in the back, but we'd also, you'd take trips to like Quick Trip and get food and drinks all the time.
Yeah.
So the bed of these trucks were always just like had all kinds of just trash and junk in them. And at one point, one day, middle of hot summer day, or near the end of a hot summer day, actually, they took the keys, some of my buddies that I worked with, out of my truck, and they hid them. And then they left. And they went back to like the headquarters site to clock out for the day, and they were going home. And I had no idea where these keys were. I couldn't find them anywhere. They just said that they're somewhere in the truck. That's all they said. So I'm searching everywhere, couldn't find them. Time keeps going on. I mean, we're talking like 30, 45 minutes after I was supposed to have already clocked out. And eventually, one of the guys comes back. His name was David, and just go straight to the back.
His name was David.
Right in the middle.
David?
Freaking David. Comes back and
the lefty
grabs the key under all of this under all this trash, like it was in an obvious spot. It was
Like,
right here.
hey, dummy.
I was like, how am I supposed to know?
Why couldn't he have told you that on the phone?
How old was freaking David?
He said it was in the bed, but the problem is there was so much crap
Stuff
everywhere.
in the bed.
I couldn't find where in the bed. How old was David? David was 2 years older than me. Actually, I loved David. I really liked David.
You said that in past tense.
Really respected David. Those days are over.
Man,
Oh.
I used to work in my, coming of age, I worked almost exclusively at golf courses. And you just reminded me of a story I haven't thought of in years.
Good story?
No.
Tell it.
Super boring.
Oh, well, not if it's boring.
It's terrible boring. Nothing happens.
It was a sunny day.
You just had a sudden drop in our listenership. I'm not sure what's going on with that.
So there's this guy, I can't remember his name. It started with a T. It was kind of a weird name. But you just reminded when you said, David, because I used to think that about that guy's name, and I can't remember it now. But he got a golf cart stuck in a sand trap on this super nice course. And you're not supposed to drive that close to the green at all anyway, even if you're playing, let alone if you're a worker. And he had no business being out there. So he gets this thing absolutely stuck in a trap. And I'm like, you have to deal with that. You can't just leave. Like, somebody's going to find that and go, that's a problem, and then trace it back to you somehow. And he just goes, listen, don't tell anybody. And then left for the day. And he was the morning shift, and I'm the afternoon
Was
shift.
that David?
May have been David.
It was David.
It was to David.
Started with a T, but that would be a weird
So what'd
name
you
to start
do?
with a T.
So I'm like, because I didn't even, he was acting like I was in on it. And now listen, we can't tell anybody
But
now.
his shift was over.
If I'm going down, you're going down with me.
I had nothing to do with this. So he's like, listen, and then he kind of puts it on me, not quite a threat, but close. Like, listen, if somebody finds out, I'm going to know.
Oh, my God.
Is this guy in jail now? Like, this is
No
like a
clue.
master manipulator.
He was very good at it. And I'm like, man, I don't know what to do because A, I don't really care, but B, I had nothing to do with this. So I'm not really sure what I should do. So I sort of started just starting a rumor campaign that maybe something happened this morning, but I don't know what it is.
Oh, I'm sure you were incredibly subtle, like with the big jaw drop and the big lean in, wink, wink,
Now
wink while you were
listen.
saying it.
Now listen, management. There may have been an incident this morning.
There's nothing to see on hole number 8 in the trap.
It's something that you may want to check out, but I don't really know anything about it, although I had seen it because I drove by it on my way in. I'm like, nobody is going to avoid this. Everybody can see it. So I ended up not getting in trouble because I did the right thing. But I think that guy always had it out for me after that.
What
'Cause
was the right thing? Snitching?
Threw him under the bus
Yeah, I absolutely did.
because he was going to do it to you.
Yeah. What better way could that have gone?
I
Like
can't
you didn't even
believe
get the
that.
fun of doing the thing that got him in trouble.
Can't believe that Tyrone would do that to you.
Yeah.
Tiago. Tucker.
It was something like Tarek or something. Like Derek with a T.
Okay,
I don't know.
Yesterday we talked a little bit about Barbies, correct? Because I was talking about Donnie Wahlberg. And I was trying to figure out how to articulate Donnie Wahlberg action figure.
No, dolls.
I don't know, out of respect for Donnie.
Full size, foot long dolls.
You said full size. And I said, I don't really know what full size means. We got into a conversation about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and it went on and on. There is more Barbie news, and I thought I'd play this to get you guys' reaction to it.
The first autistic Barbie doll is part of the Fashionistas line. The doll features flexible joints for stimming, which is a term for hand flapping or similar gestures that some people with autism use to express excitement or process sensory information. The Barbie comes with a fidget spinner, noise-canceling headphones, flat shoes, a flowy skirt for less fabric to skin contact, and a communication tablet to reflect various autistic experiences. Mattel has previously released dolls with Down syndrome, type 1 diabetes, blindness, vitiligo, hearing aids, and prosthetic legs.
So there is a report of autistic Barbie is now an actual thing. And, I'm thinking to myself that all of the other Barbies that exist could all be people who also have a form of autism.
Is that real?
I think so.
That's incredible.
Video from ABC7. And I saw that and I thought to myself, okay, when she was listing through all of the different types of Barbies that they had, she said type 1 diabetes Barbies, which I think is interesting that it's not just diabetes Barbie, because why isn't there a type 2 diabetes Barbie? That seems discriminatory in and of itself.
Yeah, I would get the type 2. I don't care about the type 1.
Well, because you're
I'm actually kind of
in
both.
a complicated relationship with diabetes.
Yes, I am. I have that in my Facebook profile.
If autistic Barbie is something that needs to be put out there, if this is not real, if this was a fake ABC7 video, then they got me. But this is now a thing.
They only got beat by themselves when they said that there's a type 1 diabetes Barbie. Because how would you know? I mean, it's just a doll that has external features. You don't need to know about its brain. You don't need to know about its organs. It doesn't have them.
Plus, if you're a kid who's playing with Barbies and you have autism, I think that the idea of a Barbie is supposed to be that who you are gets to be manifested through how you play with that Barbie.
Maybe. And maybe there is something to that specifically with autism and Barbies, because that is a thing. But I don't know. That's why I said the type 1 diabetes.
The ones that they all list there.
The type 1 diabetes thing. How does that connect to anybody? I mean,
I don't know.
guess
Maybe they have like a insulin pump or something like that on. But I would think
But
that
that's an accessory.
I was going to say, I would think that you should be able to accessorize any type of Barbie.
With any, you can have a colostomy bag.
Yeah, sure.
I just don't understand, like, who's getting this and going, finally.
Been waiting for this. I don't know. Maybe there are people out there who are. And again, if we got duped, okay. But that was a report apparently from ABC7. Here's one other thing from the media that I wanted to play today, because I'm constantly looking for signs of the time. Have you seen Landman? Have you watched Landman? Billy Bob Thornton. It's supposed to be they had episodes coming out. I don't know what year they first started, but they had an episode coming out when Yellowstone wasn't completely over. It kind of looks like Yellowstone-esque. Landman, I think, has to do with a man who owns a lot of land, and there's oil involved and everything. And at one point, Billy Bob Thornton's character comes across some, I think, government official who's there to talk about green energy and stuff like that. And I'm summing up, because the script writing is better than this, but he's like, hey, dummy, oil powers the world. That's
okay.
And then, like, when that was out there and that clip was being played, there were a lot of people, as you can imagine, who leaned in and are like, tell me more. That was a choice to put that in the script. Here is another scene from Landman, and it's about there are two females here, and Landman is on Paramount. There are two females here. It looks like the setting is one where they are setting up to maybe be roommates at college. I think maybe TCU is the university in the show that this drama show is set in. Listen to this.
What are your pronouns?
My pronouns? Well, I hope that's pretty clear.
Yeah, I don't make assumptions. You could identify as a sunflower.
You know, I've been told I look like one.
I use they, them.
You know, I've always been curious. Why they, them? Because there's just one of you, and those are plural pronouns. Just never really understood the hoopla of pronouns. My name's Ainsley, and I just can't really come up with a reason why you would address me in third person in a conversation that I'm a part of. So if you do, I'm probably not there. So I wouldn't really know what pronouns you were using anyways. So why would it matter?
You smell like the beach.
Who says that? You know, I think it's because I use coconut oil as a moisturizer.
But Ainsley here from Landman, who I've never met before until I came into encounter with this clip. Ainsley's like, the pronouns that you would use to talk about me would not be in my presence. So why does any of this matter?
Plus, those are plural.
Yeah, she's like, oh, and that. But that has always been the question that I have. Is like to emphasize, it's not actually about the pronouns. The pronouns is the gateway to having a conversation about somebody's gender identity, sexual identity, whatever it might be. I don't know if sexual identity is really tied to it anymore. Like gender identity is apart from sexual identity. But to make that the forefront of the conversation that you will have with somebody, it never occurs to me to explain to somebody, like the first thing I'm like, I just want you to know that I identify as a girl. Ainsley says they're like, I think it's pretty obvious. And she's like, well, I identify as they, them. She's like, first of all, that's plural. Second of all, if I ever use them, you won't be here when I do. So why does it matter? And I just think to myself, yeah, kind of that. Like, if you want to be they, them, onward. But why? How do I not screw this up for people?
You smell like the beach.
And she's like, I know, it's my coconut moisturizer. She says this like insightful, in-depth little epithet of the concept of pronouns in a cultural sense, and she's like, I use coconut moisturizer.
She's also like wearing Daisy Dukes and bending over. And
there is a visual element to this that's not important for the context of this conversation, but if you go back and watch our YouTube channel, enjoy. Ethan Sports and Local with some breaking St. Louis sports news when we come back. Don't go away.
Broken mirror and a blown out speaker, and I ain't got much else to lose. I'm faded, flat busted, been jaded, I've been dusted. I know that I've seen better days. 1 foot in the hole, 1 foot getting deeper. Crank it to 11, blow another speaker, and I ain't got much to lose.
The Retirement Advisory Group. Waiting for your phone call here. Make sure you let them know that Annie sent you. 314-993-9494. That's 314-993-9494. Set up a conversation. It doesn't cost you anything. And when you walk away, you can be like, okay, glad I did that. Don't need any more. But if you're like the majority of people who listen to this show, who have dialed 314-993-94 or come to one of our events, you realize the value of these people who are focused on that transition period. You're in your late 50s, your early 60s. Retirement is the next step, and you need to make sure that you are, in fact, fully ready to enjoy it in the way that you've always dreamt of. That's kind of what the Retirement Advisory Group is out there set out to do, is to make your dream come true, to know that you have a peace of mind about how retirement is going to look for you, what you've wanted to do. You've worked your tail off to accomplish it, and when you retire, you want to know that it is the next thing up. 314-993-9494 to call and set up your no-cost, no-obligation review of your retirement with Thomas Helbig, Bob Kershaw, and Tammy Kershaw, the best in the biz. 314-993-9494, retirementkey.com.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Our firm handles hundreds of crash cases involving semi-trucks every year. A crash case involving semis is much different, and if you don't know what you're doing, you can leave lots of money on the table. Many times there is separate insurance for the cab and for the trailer. Sometimes there are actually layers of other insurances and excess insurance that some lawyers may not know about because they don't see that many cases. We see these cases every day. Also, there are federal laws governing the hours a driver may drive in a 24-hour period and logs that are required. A crash case involving a semi-truck is a totally different animal than a simple car crash. We have lawyers who only handle these cases. It's all they do. Rolling the dice with the wrong law firm can be disastrous. Call us on your cell phone at Pound Law, pound 529. It's so easy. Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Wow, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband Ryan died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Start the new year off on a healthier note by taking active liver supplements from New Nordic every day. Available online at Amazon or newnordicusa.com or at your local CVS, ShopRite, Meijer Grocery, or Wegmans.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Hold up. Check it out. Sports and local.
Ethan Hannaford's Push-Up Bra.
I haven't heard that one in a while.
I don't think I've heard that one.
Yeah, that one's a one time and gone. But here it is again.
Ethan, you don't need that.
I don't know.
You're
how to
uplifting
take that.
all by yourself.
Yeah,
I don't know how to react to
Probably
that.
the most uplifting guy on the
Yeah,
show.
Probably. You work out, don't you?
More than you do.
That's not tough.
Chest day was yesterday.
That's what I call Monday also, but for different reasons.
No.
All right. Time to get into gear.
Mm-hmm.
The St. Louis Cardinals have made a trade.
Oh, yeah? Tell us about it.
Nolan Arenado is headed to the desert.
Arizona.
The longtime Cardinal third baseman. I guess not really that long. 2021? Boy.
It was
that's
happening.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years.
Yeah, I was broadcasting at home when that happened, and I remember talking to Kevin Wheeler about it. I'm like, we need Arenado. And he was like, no. And then obviously we got him, but it was kind of a shock to the world. And the trade deal to get him was not a bad one for the Cardinals.
Oh, it was amazing. I remember where I was. I was actually at work. I was a server, and I was in the server station.
Where'd you serve?
I served at JJ Thermal Bar and Grill. It's no longer there, but it was in East Alton, right by the ice arena.
Yeah.
And it was a hockey bar. Really cool place. Unfortunately, like a lot of small businesses, COVID killed it. But I was in the server station, and I literally was leaning against the wall, and I slid to my butt. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe we got him. I was pure shock. It was amazing. Arenado to the Diamondbacks. In return, to be quite honest, there's not much that the Cardinals are getting here. They're getting one lower level prospect that was an 8th round pick last year for the Diamondbacks. The biggest thing in this is that the Cardinals are going to be eating the majority of Arenado's salary in order for him to play somewhere else. That's how desperate they were to move on from Arenado.
Elementary question for the expert in the room, Ethan Hannaford, host of his podcast called
The Lou Sportscast.
I was wondering if it's in the Lou or the Lou Sports Talk. Yeah, subscribe to that.
I thought you were going to say Ethan's push-up bra, so I didn't know where you were going with that.
No, I would never disrespect you like that.
Thank you.
In public. In private. Why would you willfully eat his salary, send him away, and get nothing for him? Why bother moving him if you're still going to be paying that salary?
When you look where the Cardinals are right now, there just isn't much reason to have a guy like Arenado on your team. The Cardinals are beginning a rebuild. They are looking to get younger, save money, figure out which prospects can perform and eventually be a part of this team's future. Nolan Arenado wasn't ever going to be that.
So moving him off the team what does that allow the Cardinals to do now?
So the Cardinals are going to be able to have either Nolan Gorman or J.J. Weatherholt, a much younger piece, play third base every day. It opens up that opportunity. Arenado being on the team last year definitely created some logjam. That's going to be the biggest thing that this is going to benefit. It's going to allow for young players to get more time to grow and develop at the major league level.
You're opening up the opportunity for someone else to play and not have Nolan Arenado sitting on the bench.
Correct.
Taking up space.
He was never going to be on the bench. He was going to start if he was here, and that was going to prohibit
I like Nolan.
someone else from playing. I do too.
I hope that
fierce competitor.
I love the way he approaches everything, and I hope that he is wildly successful in Arizona.
I do too. I do too. You know, maybe he has always been someone that's been known for putting unnecessary amounts of pressure on himself to perform.
Yeah.
And part of that's because he's a superstar, but he gets paid like a superstar.
Mm-hmm.
And, over the next couple of years, though, maybe that weight won't be there. One, because there are several other superstar caliber players in Arizona, and they're only going to be paying $11 million over the next 2 years for Arenado when he's due $42 million. The Cardinals are going to pay $31 million for Nolan Arenado to play on the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Did we get fleeced by the Diamondbacks the way we fleeced the Rockies to get him?
No, because of the direction in which the Cardinals are wanting to head, attached with he has not been very good offensively the last couple of years.
So
his numbers have not lived up to the money that he is making.
Is this the Cardinals just cutting bait?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
We're not going to catch the fish.
He wanted to be somewhere where he had a better chance to win a championship.
Yeah.
Which
is why he came here. That sucks to hear.
It's really sad to look at the situation and see what they had in Paul Goldschmidt and Nolan Arenado and how they weren't able to accomplish what they wanted to. Certainly, Nolan's talked about some of those frustrations about how he thought that they were going to add more to these teams when Mozeliak was the president of baseball operations. They did not. Unfortunately, didn't go necessarily the way that he wanted to, but he also speaks very highly of his time here and just the guys that he was able to play with, the fans here. So most certainly, when he returns, when the Diamondbacks come to Busch Stadium this upcoming year, he's going to get a heck of a standing ovation. So appreciate Nolan Arenado.
Love My 57 says the ridiculous salaries are a big reason why I no longer am interested in sports. I push back on that a little bit because when you understand how lucrative of an industry professional sports are, the amount of dollars that are coming in to the sport from people spending money on tickets and merchandise and food and beer and events and like jerseys and all of that stuff. When you look at the money coming in and you look at the money that goes out to the players, it's definitely a business. And the players are the product. So every individual entity, every individual team has to look at the money they're taking in and the money they'd like to take in. How do you sell more tickets? You get bigger players. Well, you have to, it's a business deal and it's a risk. Every time you make one of those deals and you offer to pay somebody, you've got it. This is free market stuff at its core that I don't think, I find it to be a non-free market conservative ideology to say that professional athletes, they should be able to make whatever they can get out of a contract.
Yeah.
I don't really think that there's any other way to do it. Now, what happens is they don't perform, and
there's reason for criticism if they don't.
Yes, to those players, which is what you're saying, like Nolan Arenado puts a lot of pressure on himself. But like a club needs to assess the money that they're spending, where they're investing, and if it's returning a product that people want to see. As long as you're buying tickets, they're going to continue on the course that they are continuing. You look at St. Louis, people have stopped buying tickets. So now the club has to do something differently. Unfortunately, there are peaks and there are valleys, and it looks like we have not only entered the valley, but acknowledged the valley, which probably comes first.
It's a big step.
It's important. So like I wanted Shohei Ohtani to come here, and I offered him the St. Louis Arch. So I was ready to give him all of the Rams money and the Arch to come play in St. Louis, and people would have shown up to see him. see him play. And they should come see him play if you have one of the greatest to ever play the game in your presence. We did it for Albert Pujols. Certainly would have done it for Shohei, but that wasn't in Shohei's best interest, so he made a different decision to pay enormously higher taxes in LA.
I mean, I just saw something the other day that valued the St. Louis Cardinals organization at $2.5 billion. So you want to talk about the players making a lot of money. There's a lot of money in this business.
The money is out there. Who do you want to keep it?
Yeah, exactly.
The players, to me, the players should be the first front of where that money goes.
Yep.
And the people managing the business around it obviously should make money as well. You would hope that the city would make money off of having a great product that entices people to come downtown, spend their money downtown, tax revenue increases. This is how free market works. But you can't, just because you see they get a lot of money to hit a little ball with a stick. Well, you go do it.
Yeah, exactly. One more thing, real quick.
Monkeys?
The monkeys are still on the loose.
They're on the loose still?
Still on the loose.
Good for them.
It's gotten barstool big.
What about the goat?
Goat's still on the loose.
Yeah, good for him.
Did you see the AI selfie in front of the arch of the goat and all the monkeys around it taking a picture?
I think I happened to see one of them in the 97.1 studio this morning.
Oh, yeah, really? I think Jeremy Boyer, organist extraordinaire, put that out there. I love it. All right. Thank you for the update. We will be on Monkeygate until this situation is resolved. If it doesn't get resolved by the end of the week, we're sending Brian Wiggins out to get him himself.
Yay!
X's and Y's next. Don't go away.
What if every time you spent money, you saved money too? With Achieve It Checking from Together Credit Union, you can do just that. Every debit card purchase is rounded up to the nearest dollar, and the spare change goes right into your savings. And here's the best part. Together Credit Union boosts your progress by matching qualifying savings, up to $8 a month. It's a free checking account that helps you achieve more automatically. Learn more, or better yet, enroll today at togethercu.org. Together Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA.
This is Corey from Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. There's never a good time for your heating system to stop working. If yours does, no matter what time or day, Air Comfort Service offers 24/7 emergency HVAC service. Contact our award-winning team for 5-star heating service and stay in your comfort zone. For heating and 24/7 emergency service, contact Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation at aircomfortservice.com. That's aircomfortservice.com.
Hi, this is Jill Schlesinger, CBS News business analyst, certified financial planner, and the host of the Jill on Money podcast. With the new year upon us, there's no better time to take control of your financial life, and the Jill on Money podcast is here to help. It's your questions that make it possible for me to provide unconventional and, I hope, entertaining insights on your money and, more importantly, on your life. Follow and listen to Jill on Money wherever you get your podcasts.
Wondering if dangerous contaminants are in your home's water? Get Leaf Home Water Solutions today. We can't live without water, but we can take actions today to make it safer and healthier. Leaf Home Water Solutions is offering a free in-home water test. Just visit leafhome.com/free to schedule yours. With results from their advanced digital testing, Leaf Home Water Solutions can design a whole home system and expertly install it in as little as 1 day. With Leaf Home Water Solutions, you can feel confident that each drop of water from every tap and appliance is cleaner and safer for you and your family. We can't live without water, but we can take actions today to make our family's water safer with Leaf Home Water Solutions. Schedule your free home water test today at leafhome.com/free and save 15% on all home water treatment systems. That's leafhome.com/free for your free home water test and 15% off. leafhome.com/free.
The ACA Market Plan has just announced significant increases on their monthly premiums for 2026, with deductibles over $10,000. You can enroll with Greg Hammond's Freedom of Choice plans now. You don't have to wait. One of their plans lets you use any doctor, has 0 outpatient deductibles, and it's 30 to 60% lower than most Obamacare plans. Other options are full coverage PPOs with national networks, copays, and 100% annual preventative care. Also, there's no income disclosure required, so no potential tax penalties. If you pay for your own health insurance, you're uninsured, you're on COBRA, or your employer coverage is just too expensive, call Greg, and they'll provide all available options. Call 314-794-7784. That's 314-794-7784. Or go to greghammonds.com. That's greghammonds.com. He can custom design a plan managed and chosen by you, not the government.
Are you nearing retirement and wondering if you're truly prepared? Sue Thomas here. And when it comes to retirement planning, keep in mind Financial and Tax Architects, FTA, has helped families all across St. Louis plan to retire with clarity and confidence. FTA specializes in creating tax-efficient retirement strategies, showing you how and when to claim Social Security, and building an income plan designed to last as long as you do. Now, they have a Retirement Planning 101 class. It is eye-opening. It's 2.5 hours. It's offered on campuses of colleges throughout the area. No cost or obligation. But you're going to learn how to avoid costly mistakes, reduce unnecessary taxes, and make your money work smarter in retirement. Call 314-888-5101 or visit fta-ria.com to reserve your seat today. Space fills quickly, so don't wait. Take that first step toward a more confident retirement.
Who do you want to see deported? That is the YouTube live chat poll today. There are 3 options. One is no deportations. Another one is anyone with an illegal status. And the last is violent offenders with illegal status. Let us know what you think. There's been a lot of comments on this topic, but I have not peeked at the results. So we'll find out what they are here within the half an hour before Mark Rudin takes over at 3 o'clock. It is 2:36. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
JerryKelly.com. Born in the Midwest, built on common sense. 97.1 FM Talk. St. Louis Conservative. X's and Y's.
All right, what a day to be discussing the difference between boys and girls. The Supreme Court today hearing arguments surrounding the appropriateness of transgender women, which is how we refer to men who identify as women and want to play in sports, in girls' sports. That's being heard at the Supreme Court. I was listening to the arguments today, and I was getting very frustrated at the nuanced arguments surrounding should boys be in girls' sports. The answer is hell no. I mean, let me at them. Here's Supreme Court Justice number 10, Annie Fry. She says hell no. Adjourned.
You also could be arguing for the government in this case.
At the end, I didn't know what I was arguing for or against. I just know that there is a common sense application to the situation right now, and I'm really hoping that come June, when this ruling is made public, that we land somewhere adjacent to what is obviously true. Doesn't mean that you have to have a problem with people who identify as transgender. Okay, fine, whatever. But you don't get to take away opportunities for girls because you feel as though you belong there. Everybody else doesn't have to participate to their own detriment in making that space available for you, which would in turn take it away from a girl who just wants to play a sport that she's worked hard at and that she's entitled to a fair shake opportunity to earn that spot amongst the other females who want to participate. Duh.
My favorite part of the Fox coverage was when they just played the movie Ladybugs from 1992 with Rodney Dangerfield.
That's another example of a movie that, like, should it come out today, you'd be like, oh, no.
Oh, no. How offensive. Jonathan Brandis.
X's and Y's, where we ask questions across the gender. Trisha is caught up in a meeting, so she can't join us today. Ryan, why don't you go first?
All right. My first question is, should guys be at baby showers?
Ooh. How many baby showers did you have?
I think we only had one official. We might have had a small one for our third, but I don't really remember. I remember the big one, though, for the twins.
Your firstborns are twins, and then you had a second one 3 years later?
Yep.
Second birth 3 years later.
Second birth, third child.
So one for the initial one. Did you go to it?
I showed up at the end.
To move the presents?
To say thank you to everybody and, like, make an appearance.
Uh-huh.
And, yeah, I guess kind of help clean up.
Should you be there?
I thought that was probably the right way to do it, although I felt like I was a little more involved in the shower than I needed to be because I showed up and...
Why? Because how involved were you in the babies?
Oh, I did my part.
So, yes or no?
No.
You don't think they should be there?
No. It's a hard line because I wasn't really at most of it. I came at the end, but I would say if you had to just say yes or no, no.
Brad?
Yeah, I'm a no on that. I wish I had a bigger. I don't. There's not really roles like for guys, not just the husband, but guys in general. It's not our thing, and like so.
What do you mean it's not your thing? It's your baby.
It's our baby, but
shower is not our thing.
The shower isn't our thing. Guys will celebrate that in a different way, and I think in past the guys used to do it with cigars. Now I think it's moved on to like the Huggies and Chuggies model.
What?
Whoa, I've never heard.
I've had 4 children, and I've never heard of.
Well, no, I know what it is, but
what are
we always
Chuggies?
Called it a diaper party.
Yeah, it's a diaper party, and then they bring beer. So
Huggies and
Huggies.
Of course,
and
it has to have a name now.
Oh no, I've never heard that name before.
So,
what was your situation, Annie Fry?
I had a baby shower with Charlie. Never had another one. Had 3 more babies. Jared did not come to it. That was in 2009, though, but times have changed. And I think it's absolutely appropriate for the dad to be there because, generally speaking, I'm just speaking as the woman who was 7 months pregnant at this thing. I was uncomfortable physically with it. You're around a bunch of people of which, generally speaking, half of the people belong to the other side of the family.
Right.
So it's not just the baby that, you got me into this situation. The family that is around often belongs to, now a lot of people will have multiple baby showers. So I would say if you were having a baby shower that was just the mother's side of the family, kind of a caveat there, show up at the end. Say hi to people, maybe take a few pictures and help load the gifts up. But if you're at a baby shower and it's for people that are connected to this baby through the father, it is the coolest, sexiest thing for him to be willing to show up at that event and just be to help you along. Because this also very much so depends on the comfort with which a woman is pregnant. So there are some women who find pregnancy to be the most glorious time frame of their lives. I was not one of those people. So to be able to, like, Jared didn't come to the baby shower. I wouldn't have dreamt of asking him to come to the baby shower. He would have done whatever I asked him to do at the time, but that's not what was going on 15, 16, 17 years ago. But since then, it just makes so much sense. Like, especially in the sense of being pregnant, just because I was so uncomfortable being pregnant. Like the thought of, oh, you would be uncomfortable there? Please, go make yourself comfortable. Like that is not a good reason to not go. But it's also, there's a culture shift where I think it's more appropriate to do that. And then I would also say, in turn, it doesn't have to be a tea party event. It could be a barbecue. Mm-hmm. It could be something that's not, if you want to have a tea party, a ladies event, then maybe he's not there. So I think it kind of depends on the event. So if you want him to be there, he should want to be there for you. If the dude's like, baby shower, I'm going to be like, okay.
Guys should not want to be at a baby shower.
Well, there's a statement.
And I'm going to say in this opinion segment that you happen to be wrong on this issue.
Okay.
Because that's not a guy's space to be in. And the minute it becomes something where a guy would be invited, it's not really a shower anymore. It's something else.
What is a shower?
A shower is for women to get together to shower the new mom with.
See, I would disagree with that. Having been to quite a few of them, especially watching them evolve after I was out of the game, I was like, this is not the way.
They've definitely done that.
They've evolved. But the way that, the ladies gathering, that's like a tea party where you shower a gift. A shower in and of itself, a diaper party is a shower. It's just a different word.
Well, it's not even a diaper party. Apparently, it's Huggies and Chuggies.
Yeah, I can't even get around that.
I can't either.
I'm on a diaper party, which is you watch a football game and people that remember to bring diapers.
Yeah, but that's a different event. Like, that's why it's called something different.
But what we're calling this is my point. What you and I, Ryan, who have experienced these things as the parents, what we're calling it, Brad has gone to and attended and is calling it something different. So they're just words and names for events where people come together to celebrate a new life and provide something for the family, for the expecting, for the new child that will make their life a little bit better. I would rather, as a female, had a diaper party than a shower because I'm uncomfortable in those situations. Now, the baby shower that was thrown for me was exquisite, beautiful, incredibly kind and generous, very grateful for it. I just am uncomfortable in those situations, and I was uncomfortable as a pregnant person, so it was a double whammy. Having Jared be there with me, he helps me navigate through these things because he just likes to talk to everybody all the time. I'm just self-conscious and nervous about it when I'm there.
Thank you for saying pregnant person instead of woman.
Yeah.
They're just words and names for things.
Yeah, right. Next one.
Brad?
I got one here from the chat. This is from Quick Rick, and he wants to know what sort of sport could you play competitively, I guess, on the opposite sex team if you were invited to play.
What sport has a gender?
So I guess what he's saying is if you were going to go play a sport against men, what
would you be most competitive in?
What one would you be most competitive in for Annie?
For just this
It
is just
doesn't-
for
no,
Annie?
it doesn't say for Annie.
We'll do girls for guys, I guess.
So I would love to play hockey against a bunch of girls. No, I don't know. I would say it's something
Do you
like.
think you would fare well against a girls' hockey team?
I don't know.
I know.
I might.
Can you
know-
skate?
Yeah, I can skate.
Can you skate and play hockey at the same time?
I used to play hockey, so
On
I'd be all
ice?
right. No roller, but I can ice skate though.
While playing hockey?
Yeah.
Ooh, the hesitation has me picking the girls' team of any
Yeah.
age level.
I mean, possibly the girls could beat me, but I would like to see if I could play because I used to play in like men's leagues
So here's a question. When was the last time you played in a men's league?
when I was much younger, probably my mid-20s, maybe late 20s.
What level girls' hockey team, organized girls' hockey team, what age do you think that you could beat?
3rd, 4th grade.
That's like 7 or 8.
Yeah, I'm confident I could beat them. Get a little older.
If you are listening to this show, I have a camera and a small audience and would like to make your children famous.
And let me tell you something. The reason I chose 3rd and 4th grade girls hockey is because I don't think there's a lot of it.
There's definitely a team out there. Brad?
Man. I guess the one that I actually
I don't really understand the question.
So if you were going to go, I guess the question is if you were going to go play competitively on a sport of the other genders, on a team of the opposite gender, so you were going to join
So we're not
against.
genderizing any sport.
Right.
No.
We're just saying if I was going to play a sport against a boy, what would I be most successful at?
Yeah, or a guy's team. If you were going to join a guy's team and play against other
Guys?
guys, I guess.
Okay, go ahead, Brad.
For me, I guess it would have to be softball. It's the actually kind of one of the only sports that I'm still decent at anymore. I'm old and fat and slow now, so if I can hit the ball over the fence, then I don't have to run.
Captain Planet said Wiggins will break bones. The girls will beat Wiggins.
Those bones being his bones.
Wiggins will break bones. Oh, yeah, he's saying I'll break. Okay.
Yeah, you'll hurt yourself.
Okay. I thought he was saying I was going to break the bones
Of all of the
little
sports
girls.
that you could pick to play, hockey is like the most physically taxing of all of every inch of your body. Can you imagine going out and having to skate a full skate right now and how you would feel the next day?
Brutal.
I changed my mind.
Yeah. No, I think I
Curling.
changed your mind.
Said
Yeah.
curling.
There you
Curling
go.
now. Curling. I think I could do decent against girls,
I think I could.
although they'd probably still beat me.
So, like, you're talking about playing a team that is competitive at what they do, because I am a good volleyball player, and there are things you can do in volleyball to outsmart the other team. Now, if you've got a male volleyball player on the other side, and they go up to hit, I'm just gonna hide, because, like, this is the type of stuff that we're talking about at the Supreme Court
Yeah.
right now. Like, I'm 41, so I'm a 41-year-old version of a varsity 2002 graduate volleyball team. My mind is still really in tune to what I'm capable of. My body is in need of ibuprofen.
Yes. And just to clarify, you said 41-year-old version of.
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah. So I would say, I mean, volleyball, there are things I could do to outcompete in volleyball, or at least compete with. But against guys, I mean, if I'm playing on a team with guys, then sure. I can hit a baseball. I can hit a softball. I can't field because I was a catcher and I never played in the outfield. So I'm not capable of doing that. Basketball, I can shoot, but I would be outpaced. So no.
Yeah, it's hard to picture.
But this is frustrating because this is more about me being 41.
I know.
Than me
that's
being
the
a
thing.
female.
It's more about the age than it is because am I playing pros?
And if I'm playing golf too, like am I playing from the ladies' tees,
right,
or am I playing from the same tees that men play for? So I don't know.
That's why you have to pick jarts.
Charts.
Okay, let's take a quick break. When we come back, the YouTube live chat poll results. Who do you want to see deported? No deportations, anyone with an illegal status, or violent offenders with illegal status. Quick break. We'll be right back. Home Shield Foundation Repairs.com. Reach out to Home Shield to talk about the crack that you've discovered in your basement. You don't know how bad it is. Maybe you've seen it as you've been reorganizing, packing things away from the Christmas decorations or whatever it might be. You realize that it's there. You don't know 100% what you're looking at. That's when a phone call to the Home Shield Foundation Repair folks is going to serve you very greatly. Catch it soon. It might be a much smaller project than if you put it off again and again. 314-271-9900. That's 314-271-9900 to contact Matt Hayes and the amazing team at Home Shield Foundation Repair. This family-owned business, we had them in for X's and O's last Friday. They're great people, salt of the earth, and really, really good at foundation issues, fixing them and backing up their service with warranties. You can find out all the details per service on their website, brand new website for you to check out at homeshieldfoundationrepairs.com. Call, invite Matt Hayes out, 314-271-9900, and learn more at homeshieldfoundationrepairs.com.
Never miss a beat. Take 97.1 FM Talk with you. The voices you trust, Mark Cox, Annie Fry, Mark Reardon, Scott Jennings, and more are just a tap away with the Odyssey app. Stream 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis conservative.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
ZipRecruiter. The Annie Fry Show is St. Louis conservative.
I've got a new age girl. Tell us what she's like.
Man, this song was such a hit in what would it have been? 95, 96 maybe? Mid-90s?
A little earlier than that. I think it would have been 93. I'm pretty good at this, so let me know how I do.
Yeah, you generally are. New age girl, dead-eyed dick.
92, 93.
94.
94.
Right in between what you and I said.
Yeah. You know why? Because it came out with Dumb and Dumber, and I remember that was like a 93, 94 movie.
YouTube live chat poll for today. I'm going to get some feedback real quick before the results on the text line. Who do you want to see deported? Brad, your answer, no deportations. Anyone who's illegal or only violent offenders that have
I want to see
status?
everybody who is illegal be deported. Rules are rules, laws are laws.
Ryan, what was your response?
Yeah, anyone with an illegal status.
I think I'm illegal. I think I'm there too, because I think that we don't have time to pick apart the rest of it. And Kristi Noem has said, deport yourself and we'll let you back in. So take that route. If you're here illegally, get back in line, come back. We want you back. I actually kind of hope that the Trump administration, after they kind of get done with this initial big sweep of deportations, encourages, that creates something that highlights a way for those people to come back. Real quick text line.
Yeah, here's one. It says violent offenders with illegal status. I don't know how to vote other than this. They chose the violent offenders route. Most of them, though, are choosing the full-on anyone with illegal status on the text line.
Dirk says, I chose on the YouTube chat, says, I chose anyone here illegally. The word illegally is why. So, well, put it that way. Betsy says, criminals, illegals than the others. None should get any of our government programs, period. I think that's the thing that's really going to push people to continue to support what the administration is doing right now, is we're starting to see how expensive in various places the whole idea of having illegal immigrants here and being okay with it, how expensive it is. But one more step than that, how willful our elected officials are at keeping it that way, because they're on the take as well. Want to get to the results?
271 votes on today's YouTube live chat poll. Good work, peeps. Who do you want to see deported? 1%. 1%. It's literally 1%. Say no deportations. That's why they call it the 1%. 23% say violent offenders with illegal status, and 75% say anyone with an illegal status.
3 out of 4. That's in agreement with us here in the room. All right. Well, thank you for voting today. Keep it around for the Mark Reardon Show coming up next, right here on 97.1 FM Talk. A reminder, you can stream 97.1 anywhere you go at any time in crystal clear connection on the Odyssey app. Download it, find 97.1, and keep it there for Mark Reardon.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Health Trends, sponsored by Wesley Financial.
There is no one-size-fits-all answer, but most people don't need to wash their hair every day. A lot depends on your age, environment, and type of hair. The Cleveland Clinic says washing every other day or every 2 to 3 days is often sufficient to keep scalp bacteria and yeast down without causing dryness. Younger people generally have oilier hair. Washing prevents dandruff and inflammation. Overwashing can lead to dryness and breakage. I'm Margie Schaefer.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment? That's a lie. Most timeshares can be bought online for $1. To find out what your timeshare is worth and to cancel it, call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit kit free with all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free exit info guide. 800-959-3388. That's 800-959-3388.
Now that we're getting older, we've been putting more thought into maintaining our health.
We knew the water we drink every day could be filled with contaminants, so
we called Leaf Home Water Solutions.
They came to our home and did a free water test and gave us the analysis right away.
We were shocked at what we saw.
They found heavy metals like iron and copper.
Our own tap water was putting our health at risk, but Leaf Home Water Solutions made it easy to get safer water from every tap and hose. A whole home solution.
They have more than 250 product combinations and designed a system that fits our needs and budget. The installation took less than a day.
With Leaf Home Water Solutions, our water is safer and healthier. When we drink, when we cook, when we shower, even when we garden.
We feel better about our health.
Thanks to Leaf Home Water Solutions.
Schedule your free home water test today at leafhome.com.